being so confused. You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dude.
Freely. Show me.
Hey, Hogs Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at The Dumb Show and his website, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
Oh, well, here's the good news is that we are on Facebook. We are good to go. We are on Spreely TV, which is great. So if you want to go watch us on Spreely TV, you can. You can click into this. Here's the cool thing about going live directly on Facebook is you can pop the chat out if you want to. Watch on Spreely and have the chat there. You can also go on YouTube. You can go on Rumble. The good news is it seems like everyone's 5x5. I'm going to just take this window and just check diagnostics, make sure everything's working okay. Olivia, you see how I can have that chat right here now?
Yeah.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
so let me just check some. Yep, we've got 50 on Facebook. Looks good. We've got so we got a few on Twitter. Welcome, Twitter. Hey guys, would it help on Twitter if Olivia participates? Let us know. We got to figure that out. And then we've got.
What do you mean if I participate?
Say hi, talk to them like you do on everything else.
Gotcha.
58 viewers. Okay, Facebook's climbing. Let's keep it going. Sorry, everybody. We'll let people who did not hear what was going on. Essentially, Facebook Ecamm, the streaming software, was not working. So we had to jerry-rig it and go through Facebook. Of course, it's our first night on Spreely, so of course this is going to happen. This is called.
Oh, but sometimes you have these growing pains. This is like that one step forward to go through, or one step back to go 3 steps forward kind of thing.
Your positivity makes me sick.
I don't give a shit.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time watching the Don't Unfriend Me show, it's good to have you here. My name is Matthew Spear. I'm the host of Don't Unfriend Me. I will go through some introductions. Let's see. We've had the show since we're first on Spreely. This is our first time on the channel, so we'll kind of introduce who we are. The Don't Unfriend Me show was born about 3 years ago.
Exactly 3 years.
Yeah, exactly 3 years ago. And it basically, guys, we know there's no notification on Facebook. Just everyone realized it was the fact that we're on is a miracle. So, okay, what's Spreely? All right. Okay. I'm going to answer.
Spreely?
Okay. Spreely. Okay. Spreely is our new home. They're our new affiliates, and they have Spreely social media, which is very similar to like a Facebook or a Twitter. They have Spreely video, which is very much like YouTube and Rumble. And then they have Spreely TV, which the show is now being broadcast. If you have an Apple TV, a Roku, Fire Stick, whatever you want, go to your app on your TV and download Spreely.tv. Spreely. It stands for Speak Freely. And you can go on there and look at the Don't Unfriend Me show. It's right there, and watch this live on your TV now. So if you're working out or you're just kicking back in bed or whatever, you can go ahead and watch the show. So that's what Spreely is. And essentially it's syndication. It means that Don't Unfriend Me is growing. We built a relationship with them. They recruited us to come on, and nothing's going to change. We are broadcasting to Spreely TV, and this is the next step. And after this, maybe cable news, if not the world, Pinky.
What are we going to do tonight, Brian?
We're going to try to take over the world. Okay, so
I'm lost there. I'm sorry.
Pinky in the brain.
That's
Just go.
all right. It's all right.
Is it? Am I too young for that generation?
Probably, but it's a cartoon. And, you know, did you ever watch Animaniacs?
Yeah,
No.
I just don't remember.
Did
It was
you?
like baby
And
Animaniacs.
the brain was on the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, did you
It
watch
was,
Baby?
it
Did
was
you watch?
these two. It was these two white lab.
You don't
mice,
need to get that close to the mic.
and one of them was a super genius.
Dude,
and
you
the other
don't
was like-
need to get that
I'm
close
not
to
that
the
close.
mic. You are.
How's that?
That's better. Go ahead.
All right. No, it was about these two lab mice. They were white, and it was. Well, can't
Why do you
really
have to
say
bring
that.
race into it? Why do
Right?
you bring race? Why do you bring?
And one of them was a super genius, and all he wanted to do was
Okay.
take over the world.
I remember them now. Okay.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do, Brain? What are we gonna do, Brain? Brain, what are we gonna do?
Yep, okay, I
Thing we
remember.
do every night, Pinky. Try to
Take over the world. All right. So now that we've established this, so for my Spreely viewers, we came about 3 years ago. Olivia wanted to support Donald Trump. I was working at Apple, a lot of optics, very similar to officer's wife type stuff at Apple. So if you're an officer's wife, you didn't join the military, but you're in the military, and your actions reflect on your husband, and that's just totally the way it is in the military. Same thing with Apple. They don't want you being political. They don't want you doing anything, even your family members. So she asked me, can I go ahead and put a support for Trump? And I said, sure. What? Who cares? Of course you can. Who cares about that? No big deal. And this is before everything like got crazy, or in 2020, after everything went crazy and everyone hated him and J6 and all this other stuff. So not J6, but you get my point. All the craziness.
COVID.
Yeah,
All that.
COVID, craziness, stolen election, all that crap. Carrie, I know you're on here, man. Hang tight. So we had lifelong friends. They were our godparents of our kids. He was my mentor. He still is. I love him to death. If you want to know what he looks like, go look at the Colorado Avalanche and pick Jared Bednar, the head
no
coach,
hair.
bald with no hair. He looks just like him.
Exactly.
But anyway, so she posted that, and then they posted a comment that said, well, you know, I hope Donald Trump and Melania drink bleach and die. Therefore, Barron can finally have some parents who can raise him right. And Olivia just was like, hey, this
All I said was, I thought you had a little more tact than that. That's
Right.
all I said. And she banned me. She friended us. She stopped talking to us. And she just dropped the kids and has not spoken to them.
right.
All because of my political affiliation. So after that, I was just pissed. And I came downstairs just like crying and pissed. And I told Matt, and he went on like a 30-minute video rant on Facebook.
Probably one of the best
really
rants.
was.
It was
It
great.
really was.
And it wasn't even really about them. It was about masks and COVID and the stupidity of
started
both
with that,
sides.
but-
Yeah.
People who didn't want to wear a mask. And it was 30 minutes, and that was it. And it was good. And it got a ton of likes. And
And
even
a lot
on
of friends were like, hey, you should try doing it again. So there we sat down and tried to figure out a name and did it.
Don't Unfriend Me
Yep.
was born. So we've grown from a moderate podcast with 3 people on live to a 275,000 network, 275,000 people. We average about 12 million interactions a month across our channel. It's paying the bills, doing well. And we've been canceled 3 times on YouTube. We've been throttled on Twitter. So those channels are a lot slower to grow. So we're sitting sub 1,000 on YouTube. So help us out. Rumble is
741 on YouTube.
whatever. Sub 1,000.
I'm counting.
Then Rumble is also doing well. We just went over 1,000. That's getting more and more followers. So it is growing now past Facebook. And Spreely TV is going to have a huge impact on that. We're going to open up to an entire new demographic of over-the-top viewers. And that's exciting. Spreely has a email list of 9 million people. They've got over 1 million subscribers. I mean, it's a big channel. So we're going to grow, and we're going to keep doing it. So thank you to Spreely TV. Thank you for the followers. It's going to have some bugs. They're revamping everything. They're putting a new face on the entire network. So all I can tell you is trust Terry. He's going to get it done. All right. So now that we've established that, we're on Spreely. Do we have any questions, Liv? Anything that I need to get pressing?
No, Rumble's having some issues right now, so we're trying to.
What do you mean it's having
It's
issues?
freezing. It's freezing a lot. It's lagging. So a lot of people are talking on Rumble but listening on Facebook.
That's fine. You can also watch on Spreely TV and talk on Facebook. You can do that too. Okay.
Or YouTube.
All right. Well, now I'm going to bring in Carrie, and I believe it's Carrie or it's Kari. I think it's Kari, but he'll let me know. He's going to tell me, and this is going to be an interesting conversation because what's going on, brother?
Matt, thank you once again for inviting me to your show. And by the way, I have been listening for the past couple of days, and I think that your analysis and your background as a former military intelligence man has really come into a good, a good informational content that you're creating with this. So I want to thank you for that. And once again, thank you for allowing me to be on your show. I saw the title while I was on YouTube, and I said, oh, wow, you know what? AOC simping for Palestine. Okay, I think I have something to say about this. But also, full disclosure, I haven't really been keeping up with what AOC has been saying with Palestine, but I have been keeping up with, let's say, Middle Eastern politics, at least within my specialty, which is the combat sports side. As you guys know, there's a big boxing match that's going on with Saudi Arabia. I'm sure you guys know and understand there's some political implications that come with that. Also, last week, speaking of Middle Eastern combat sports, the UFC hosted UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi last week, which, by the way, featured a lot of Russian Muslim fighters, to which, by the way, to nobody's surprise, a lot of them had won. And in their post-fight speech, many of them went and gave, let's say, a bit of a heartfelt message towards Palestine. Maybe not so much towards Israel, but obviously we kind of know where they stand when it comes to this type of political mess that's going on right now. But I also wanted to give a bit of a different take towards your viewers in terms of how nuances this particular subject is. For example, I know that you've had experience working with the IDF and with Israeli forces, and you also were very objective enough to say that, you know what, even though these are good guys, even though that I believe that the Israelis are good guys, and even though that I've had great experience with them, you also were honest enough, Matt, to say that, you know what, some of these guys have made mistakes, for lack of a better explanation, right? And I thought that was very honest of you to say that. But also what I wanted to add to that is the aspect of diffusion of responsibility. And why I wanted to add on to that was because I feel that with any force in the world, whether it was America, the United Kingdom, or Great Britain, or the United States, there's always going to be bad apples. We see that as well in the police forces. There's good police, and then there are police that are just absolutely corrupt, right? So there's going to be that. But the problem is with the diffusion of responsibility. As you know, as a military man, you know that units get changed out a lot. People get done with their 4-year terms. People move on, and so on and so forth. So whatever crime that their predecessors have committed before, now they have to somehow feel the butt end of that particular crime, whether that would be a backlash or a reprisal from a local population or things of that nature. So I thought I wanted to add that particular aspect to the nuances that is going on with this war, because we all are going to have our own biasness, right? And obviously the Russian UFC fighters of Muslim backgrounds last week in the UFC proved that. They showed that, you know what, we lean this way, but at the same time, we also want everybody to live in peace. But we must also understand the complications of this particular conflict, because if we don't, then all it's going to do is create more hatred and division that we don't need. And I wanted to get your thoughts on what I had mentioned in that particular aspect.
I think that's the longest I've ever let anyone speak in my life.
I was just going to say that.
For that, by the way.
I'm trying to grow as a human being.
That means he truly likes you and respects
No, that's not
you.
true. I wanted to interrupt him like 20 times. But I do appreciate his perspective. The first thing is I'm gonna duck, dive, dip, dodge, and duck. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Are you doing okay? Because I had one of my viewers reach out and said you're acting different than you usually do, and you sound fine to me. You sound just like you did last time, but some of your posts have been a little, not abrasive, just a little out there, is what one of the viewers said to me. So I want to make sure you're okay.
100%. Look, here's something you guys
No,
have
no,
to
no. That's a short answer. It's just a yes
Yeah.
or a no, because I just let you go. I can't let you do it again. So it's a yes or no.
Wanted to say, you know what? MMA is a business full of crazy people, and guess what? Sometimes that's what gets the attention of the viewers.
Just my people look out for people they like, and they know I like you, so they looked out for you, and they reached out and said, "Hey, should I talk to him?" So one of the viewers is going to reach out to you and just make sure you're doing okay. Some of the posts seem to be very angry. I didn't read any of them. I don't know. And he's like, "Hey, is he doing okay?" I said, "I don't know. I haven't talked to him." He reached out by email. It's been too nuts with the merger with Spreely TV and getting picked up by them. So I just checked.
But
Number one, mental health. I'm just
I
checking on you.
seem like an angry person to you.
No, it's just your post. Okay, once again, a viewer reached out to me and said, "Hey, is it Kari or Carrie?"
Kyrie, sir.
Kyrie. That's right. I knew that the first time. So now, is it Kyrie or is it Kyrie?
Kyrie.
Kyrie. Okay. So he reached out and said, "Hey, just checking out." And that's why I said when you came on tonight, not on video, because I thought you would come in to chat, I was going to check on you. That's all. So I just followed up with what I said. Don't read into it. It's a good thing. Okay. Second, I will answer to the best of my ability in a second after everyone else gets to chime in. What I really want to know is, how do you guys feel about picking up Bud Light, $100 million contract for MMA? What the fuck are you guys thinking?
Wait, the UFC picked up Bud Light?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys just signed a $100 million contract with Bud Light.
Wow.
They even
okay.
had Dana White come on Sean Spicer's. Was it Spicer or the other guy?
I don't know. I don't follow other shows.
He came on and talked about it for like a good 5-10 minutes. It was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
So what do you think? Kyrie, what do you think? Do you think that's, I mean, listen, I don't care. Dylan Mulvaney getting a 6-pack of beer with his face on it, who cares? Nobody cares, except for everybody who thinks that they need to cancel Bud Light. I think that's stupid. I think that's a dumb thing. Whatever. People can do whatever they want. That's their choice. But I don't think that's a really good look for the UFC. Now, here's the thing. I've been in advertising most of my career. And I'll tell you, that's a $25 to $50 million contract. The UFC, although popular and is great pay-per-view, it's not even in the top 4 of the most popular sports. It's a $25 to $50 million. You probably get a little bit less than lacrosse or Major League Soccer, to be honest with you, just because of the viewership being pay-per-view mostly. So they're not revenue sharing. So this is straight up $100 million. This is an unbelievably double to triple size contract that nobody, this is what Coca-Cola would get for a minor sponsorship with the MLB or NHL. I don't even think you could get in the door with football with $100 million, but this for the UFC is incredible. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is going to hurt them?
Well, I think that this sort of goes into the same ethos that UFC president Dana White has always been on, which is exactly as he's been consistent at, with allowing really freedom of speech to its highest degree, meaning that he may not agree with one side or the other in particular topics, but he's going to allow you to speak your mind. Also, speaking of Dana White, a few weeks ago, when the Ukraine and Russia conflict happened, he decided to ban fighters from coming in with their flags. So in other words, you can't wear an American flag, an Italian flag, a Mexican flag, no matter what country you represent. You weren't allowed to walk in with a flag. And then it was only recent until he decided, you know what, we're going to uplift that ban and let everybody carry flags. So lo and behold, a Brazilian fighter a week just before the UFC 294 show came in there and with the Israeli flag. And obviously this caught a lot of backlash for whatever reason. I mean, personally, I didn't care, right? I don't think anybody should care whether he was carrying a Israeli flag or a Palestinian flag or a Jordanian flag or his own flag of Brazil. But this caused a lot of tension, enough so that in the following week, which is UFC 294, they went and went and proceeded with the ban once again. But again, it didn't stop the other UFC fighters from, let's say, carrying a Palestinian flag into the cage, even if they were not of, let's say, Palestinian heritage or even of Muslim descent within the fighters in that card. So the Bud Light deal that the UFC has, which, by the way, thank you, this is absolutely new news to me, and this is just the first time I've reacted to this. I think that, yes, it goes within the ethos of what Dana White allows in terms of letting everybody speak their mind no matter what side of the political aisle they were in. Because you got to remember, Dana White is the same guy that allowed Conor McGregor to throw a dolly into a bus full of fighters that were cutting weight, which, by the way, is a blatant terrorist attack in any way that you want to look at it. But the UFC used it as a promo to build up the Khabib fight back in 2018. And then in that same light, McGregor was allowed to use language against Muslims or anti-Islamic inflammatory comments towards Khabib, which, by the way, personally, as a Muslim myself, I didn't mind because I knew and understood the value of controversy in the fight game and the way that it draws viewership. Now, as you had mentioned, you are correct about the viewership with the UFC in comparison to, let's say, your own favorite sport, which is the NHL and the Colorado Avalanche. Nowhere near.
My favorite sport is sex. My second favorite sport is hockey. Just want to let you know. I shoot from the 3-point line often. Just letting you know.
All right, so I will take it that now your basketball is your new favorite sport. Got it.
Oh, sure. If you want to call it that. That's whatever. Listen, okay. So now listen. I love what you're saying, but I got to cut you off. No, nobody gets that much airtime. I mean, if Jesus came down, he wouldn't get this much airtime. So I'm going to cut you off. I believe that
That's cold.
No, but I would set the parameters and say, listen, you're kind of verbose, sir. And, Jesus, we love you and we appreciate you. But if you get too preachy up there, I'm going to mute your mic. So no, I would never say it. Listen, I think this is a great topic. And this isn't an MMA show. A lot of people are confused. They're like, what the hell is MMA? But it's good because I think the points you're making are fantastic. Here's my take on it. Dana White, he gets to decide what he wants to do and what's best for his business. And I think if people cancel the UFC, it would be horribly short-sighted and narrow-minded. In my opinion, Bud Light is trying their best to redeem themselves. And you know what? Exactly. It's raw. There's some scars. There's a little bit of sand in everybody's vagina, but everyone deserves a second chance to make amends. And Bud Light, Anheuser-Busch, is not even an American company. So anyone who thinks that, they're anti-American, well, that's absolutely baked into the bread because they're not an American-based company. And even though they pretend to be rah, America, their overall profile is not based in the United States. Now, everyone deserves a second chance. Do I believe that there are companies out there like Dick's Sporting Goods who should get a second chance? Yes. Do I believe that there's people like Roseanne Barr who has received 17 chances and doesn't deserve any more? Yeah, I do. She's had her opportunities to redeem. So I will say it's his business. He can do whatever he wants. He's the CEO, and I'm all about giving Bud Light another chance because I never cared anyway. Because I believe I can address Dylan Mulvaney without using Bud Light as a scapegoat to be transphobic. I can just say, hey, Dylan, you're not a woman. And I feel very comfortable with that. And Bud Light doesn't change that for me. That's up to me to decide, and that's it. Leroy, your take. Olivia, your take. And then we'll go back to Kyrie again. Leroy.
Well, I think to your point, when the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing happened, when everyone decided to kind of boycott Budweiser and kind of really, slash into their profits, I think the marketing team, obviously they were probably let go. But yeah, then the new hires that came in basically said, all right, well, how can we correct this? How can we, course correct this to try and gain some of that share back? Because it's been, that's been one of those companies that's been on the decline for several years, because nobody really drinks Bud Light anymore. But that being said, I think they did a really good job with this business venture. They went from NASCAR and football and all those types of sporting venues to the Dylan Mulvaney thing, right? And everyone was like, "Oh, nope, we're done," right? Well, how are we going to like get that manly sense of adventure back? I know. Let's get a hold of Dana White, and I think it's probably going to work. To his point, I think that Dana White is not one who's ever kind of shied away from controversy. He's okay with it. He likes coming on to Fox and speaking his mind. He doesn't mind getting in the ring, figuratively and literally, and just kind of. There's no such thing as bad publicity from his point of view. So you look at that and you go, oh, well, to sign on for Budweiser, that's going to be a good thing. So that's my take on it.
Fair enough. I grew up to the Budweiser plant in between Fort Collins, Colorado. We went on the Coors tour several times. They're a sponsor of the Colorado Buffaloes. No, they're not, but they are because it's in Boulder. And anyone who goes to see you definitely drinks Coors. I mean, it's the banquet beer. We also call it Rocky Mountain Piss Water. Olivia, do you have a quick one? Because then I want to get back to the original conversation about Palestine, and people are asking me about that versus Budweiser. But yeah, I want to get back on track and bring it back. But did you have a thought process on this? Can you forgive Bud Light?
Well, first off, I don't drink beer and I don't watch MMA, so I really don't have any personal feelings over this. But if MMA wants to have Bud Light and they want to have a contract with them, good for them.
Right.
I mean, Bud Light's venturing out and trying to capture a new audience. But if people are going to, boycott MMA because they're still unhappy about Bud Light, well, good riddance. Who wants those type of people to follow their
people
their
just need to
anyway,
tap
because
out. They need to tap out.
All
they're going to do.
You did there, Matt. I like that.
Thank you.
They're just going to get anything. They're going to get offended by, and who wants those people to watch them?
Did I just do that? Was that rim shot? Did that knock something over? Was that the Tums?
Yes.
Right. Now they're not going to be in circles anymore. They're going to be broken. Real good, Liv.
Sorry.
You broke the Tums.
So anyway, I think it's great. I don't have a personal.
Here's what you need to do with $100 million. First of all, they're not going to make their money back off this. This is a horrible investment, but it does have an opportunity to gain market share back. And if Dana, a tough guy, a manly man, says, hey, let's go ahead and give this company a chance, I think people will, everyone they went back to the NFL. Maybe not as much as they did beforehand, but people forgive and they move on. But you know what? You have to make amends. And the NFL has tried immensely and failed. And they've lost a lot of viewership. But I think MMA has made a good choice. If that costs them $100 million to rehab their image, then good. But I still think what you do is on the number one card, the top draft of the night, the best fight you could put on in the next, and you make it in Vegas, and you do it in the Sphere, and you broadcast it on the outside of the Sphere, and you have Bud Light sponsor it. And you have the Budweiser,
Yeah.
the little thing out in front, the red one and blue one. And you have lasers and you have all that shit going on. And then you make the top card, the top fight, Dylan Mulvaney versus Caitlyn Jenner. And you put that shit to bed. You have those two go up. I don't want Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. I want Caitlyn Jenner and Dylan Mulvaney to duke it out.
Mulvaney would be like,
Right. And Bruce Jenner would just hike up his dress and just kick him in the face. So, all right.
That's funny.
All right, let's go back to Palestine and the Jews. You got a Muslim, which sounds like defending the Free State of Israel. Am I wrong? What's going? Tell me where you stand on this.
On that?
Because most Muslims that I know, and I know some pretty hardcore, I don't like this and that, openly say Israel is for Jews and the rest is for Arabs, period. And they know that. They may not like the Jews, but they will say that's Holy Land for Israel. We know it. We confirm it. We all understand it. And that's honestly from 75 years ago. That's a very different mentality than what it was. But I think Arabs have embraced the fact that it is their land. They certainly want to blow them off the face of it most of the time, most of them. But not all Muslims who are not radicalized, right? But the extremist groups, the extremist countries believe this. But most people have understood 3,000 years the Jews aren't going anywhere. And that's their land. But then you've got Hamas, you've got the PIJ, you've got, every single terrorist group that does not believe that. And predominantly, this is where the confusion lays. But walk me through it. What am I missing? Go ahead, Kyrie.
I think you hit that on the nail for the most part. And again, it goes back to what I had mentioned earlier about the diffusion of responsibility, meaning that the people that they're currently blaming may not be the ones that are to blame. And that goes for both sides. And that's what makes this conflict very confusing and very tough to objectively go one way or the other. Now, as a human, the only thing that you can hope for, obviously, is you want the safety of everyone else to be intact. You don't want anyone to die on both sides. You don't want any casualties or anything like that. But the problem is that when you have Israel in the position that it's at, and then Palestine with the history that it has, it's like, how can you stop something like this from going on when people are going to have an action and a reaction? And then sometimes their actions or reactions towards someone is misdirected, which is what makes this entire conflict very complicated. The other aspect of that, you had mentioned it, yes, there have been Jews that have lived there for thousands and thousands of years. You're correct about this. But the other argument and aspect of that is, let's say, the Eastern European immigrants that have moved there, but perhaps they have a Jewish background. However, they may not have, let's say, the traditional Arab Semitic blood with the Jewish religion on top of it. Because I have met myself some Israelis that, let's say, have a Moroccan background, Israelis that have had, let's say, an Egyptian background. And I'm sure your experience in that part of the world, you've met Jews like this. So this is what makes the conflict in and of itself even more complicated, because then who do we consider real Jews as opposed to the ones that were originally there? And this is what makes this entire mess.
All right. Okay. Time out. All right. So we've got all we're just so honored to have the Groypers trolling us yet again, because this shows you how fucking pathetic Nick Fuentes is they have nothing better to do. Their little cuck leader isn't available tonight, I guess. Maybe he's sucking off Kanye. I'm not sure. But there's hundreds of them in YouTube, and they're just begging for what's the guy's name? Wurzelroot?
Yeah.
Oh, cute. How about Freudenfraud? Okay. So the Freudenfrauds are who significantly love the pain of others. These are the ones who have been insulting my wife and insulting me because isn't this the Virgin Society? These are the guys that believe that straight sex is gay, right? Isn't that what Nick Fuentes said? If you guys want to come on, there's a phone number right there. What's your dial the fucking phone number? What are you morons? Is it that hard for you to see the giant phone number right there? I know it's not some,
Matt, is this in reference to that argument you had when that other guy that came on, I think it was your other co-host who was a former Marine?
Yeah. Well, he never a former Marine, always a Marine, but yeah.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
but you know what you're talking about. Is this what this is in reference to?
Yeah, that was the guy. Yeah.
You want to know what's crazy about the change you had with that guy while I was watching that live? So as I was watching that live...
hold on a second. Time out. You got to let me run the show, man. So he wants to come on and have a conversation with you. Do you want to have a conversation with him?
He wants to have a conversation with me? Sure.
I think so. Great. Let's bring him in. So he says he's live right now. Wow, nice green screen. Did you want me to put a picture back up there? Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's close that. We already got him on. So he's in the green room. Do you want me to put up a photograph for you, man? What do you want? It's Wurzel. What is it? Wurzelroot? whatever his name is. Do you want a photograph on there, man? You got your green screen on. I want to make sure I take care of you.
Resolute.
So let me know.
I am Groot. Who's this?
All right, let me see if I can get him. There he is. He's sitting in the green room. Look at him. He's all ready to go. Love you, buddy.
Love you.
See you in the morning, pal. All right, let's get everybody on here. Let's see if we have a UFC argument here.
Okay.
All right, we should get everybody on here. All right, man. So you wanted to talk to about Kyrie. You're the guys who are saying that he is a oh wow, look at your guy. Are these your friends there, big guy? What's your first name? I'm not calling you a German name. What's your first name? Adolf? What is it?
No sound.
Well, he needs to turn on his mic. Call back in, dude. Reset it. Try it again. I'm gonna get you a nice. I'm gonna get you. Why are you upset? Are you gonna throw a temper tantrum? Are you gonna be okay? Call your mom. Go take out the trash real quick. Come on back. Call me right back. We'll get you back on. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead and kick you off and come right back because I'm telling you it's just a glitch in the software. And I'm gonna let you back in. Go ahead. I'm gonna find him a nice backdrop. Let me see. What can I get for him?
Something up.
Oh, I know.
Something off of Grinder.
No, I was gonna.
I already got it. I got it under control.
You and I are the same. We think the same.
Oh, that's
so
creepy.
think the same.
Yeah, let me get him on first of all.
he was going to it before I even said it.
All right, man.
What?
So I'm gonna have to turn off Skype if your brothers keep calling in. So I'm waiting for him. I'm not bullying him. I'm not a Marine either, dipshit. Wake up, buddy. Come on, you guys can do better than this. I'm waiting for him. He's got to come on.
Anytime now.
You don't think he's scared, do you? No, he's not
TikTok,
scared. Did you see him throw his hand down and all pissed off when his mic wasn't working? I was just.
I think he really wants to be on.
And how come this whole group is all gingers? How come they're all redheads? Is there something we need to know?
He looks a little like Harry Sasson.
Oh, he does, doesn't he? He does.
A tad.
Those mics don't work too well after you've pulled them out of your ass.
Listen, they're like, don't bully him. Let me see. You've called my wife a whore. You've called my wife that she slops up cum in theaters. You've said you wanted to fuck my 13-year-old daughter, and you guys don't want to be bullied. Oh, please, you guys, you're not going to get any of that from me. Man. Sorry. Dude, they're just a bunch of talk. He's not calling back. What's up with your boy? I thought he was this badass. I thought this guy was this badass debater. You wanted to debate me. Where's he at? He can't handle a little. I guess
he's baiting. He's baiting, all right.
Mom had him take out both bags of trash. Come on, where's he at? He's Irish. Whatever. The other guy was from Scotland. Come on, guys, hurry up.
What was his name?
I don't know. He never.
I don't. Oh, Wurzel Root has 10K in my viewers. Yeah, there's always somebody better. How many viewers does Nick Fuentes have on YouTube? 0? Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Does he even have a? How is it no fly list for Nick? Is that going well for him? I'm just wondering. Does he still hang out with Maya Yiannopoulos, the gay Greek?
Hey,
right? There he is. There he is. He's coming back now. All right, buddy. All right, man. Oh, good to have you back, man. Everything good? Did trash go out okay? Dude, you got to get a better rig. You got to get a better rig. How am I supposed to interview you when your mic doesn't work? You want to try again? I mean, I can't talk to you if your mic doesn't work. Everybody else's mics work.
He's just yelling, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Just take a second. Try to get it reset. I got your background for you. There it is. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd he go? He's in the waiting room. He is. He's right there. He can't get his. I love your backdrop though. It looks great. It looks good on you, dude. That blue and white and that Star of David looks good. If you don't like Jews, why do you have a Jewish backdrop? Why do you have the Israeli flag as a backdrop? I'm just interested. I guess not. It's not. Listen, the kid's like fucking 16 years old and he can't figure out how to work a mic. And this boomer who's not a boomer figured it out.
My mom's part of the baby boomer generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll wait for it to work. Everybody else's works. And I'm not pulling a fast one on him. I want him on.
Hey, undercover frug, we don't call names. So
yeah,
if
you
you're
do.
going to continue to call names.
Oh, just let him call names. It doesn't matter. These guys are some of the most racist pukes in the world. Look at them. They're just trying to get a rise. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm kicking you off my show. We'll see you. You can't even get on here, man. I tried to get you on, bro. At least I gave you a shot. Now you can ban all these putzes. So, good enough.
What do you talk about?
Boomer, shut up. Oh, it's so okay. You're so tough. Why don't you come on? Still no pickles. Come on, why don't you?
All their names are hilarious.
Why don't maybe one of you guys could figure out how to work
Skype
a mic
or something?
Could you figure out how to work a mic? Figure out how to work a mic and come on. I'd love to see you.
Not our software.
He was coming
trust
all right.
me.
It's our software, right? 4 people are all on, but it's the software, right? It's all a conspiracy with you guys, right? Let me guess. Facebook's suppressing you, so is YouTube. Maybe it's because you guys have shitty mics. If he has more followers than me, then why is my setup so much better than his? I mean, he's using a PS5 mic, for God's sakes. I'm sorry. It's not my fault it doesn't work.
All right, that's right.
Yeah, I'm not doing a phone call. I want you on video. I want your face on my show. I'm not doing a phone call with you. It's not going to happen. It says it's working on his end. Well, if it was working on his end, it would be working on this end. We have callers called. What about your boyfriend Beardson? It worked for 2.5 hours with him. No problems. You think I'm afraid of him? Beardson came in here, and at least he had the gumption to have a setup that worked. You guys talk a lot of shit. All right. I'm not taking a phone call. Not going to happen.
I'm not seeing any of these comments, but I mean, are they all coming from?
It's all YouTube.
It's all YouTube.
I figured it might have been coming from Grindr. I didn't know.
No, all YouTube.
NaziSingles.com. NaziSingles.com. All right, you guys done? See, you know what's funny is that they've been trying, dude. These guys are hilarious. So the Beardson has been creating false fake Facebook accounts, Rumble accounts. This guy can't stand it. He just can't stand, and none of them can, that they can't get to me. Like, you guys can't. There's nothing you can say because you're just kids and you don't know any better. And everybody went through this. Everybody went through this prepubescent juvenile tantrum that you're going through, that you think you're superior and the Jews are all your problem. And you won't admit that you just hate them. And you do. You hate Jews. And it's, you know what? You can hate whoever you want. You guys drop the N-bomb in here. You guys are calling Jews kikes and stuff. That's fine. You guys can do all of those things. That's fine. But really, the only thing you're trying to say is that everyone who supports Israel in any way, shape, or form are Zionists. And that's just a clever way for you guys to be anti-Semitic dicks. So you call it Zionism. But that we haven't demonstrated any of that. We've provided military and geopolitical analysis on why we think Israel is important. We've said ultimately that they have ignored intelligence throughout their existence, that they've made a lot of mistakes militarily, and they have done some things that are questionable. But it's your guys who think that somehow we're defending Israel as a humanitarian country who are full of heroes for everyone to idolize. It's not what we've said at all. But you guys are just so fucking racist and just horrible people, man. Go ahead, Leroy.
Something I always enjoyed from that generation, from the kid. Remember that one video from Tosh of the kid who got pissed off at his mom and he tried to ram a remote control up his ass. Do you remember that? Like, just had a full on meltdown.
Oh yeah. And he literally self-harm, right? Yeah.
Something I always enjoyed from the guys like that and what we just saw is that they can never explain how authoritarianism, can only happen from having a much bigger government, and yet they still lean left. It's like, that's what you're going for. That's your goal, right? Why don't you just put on a brown shirt or a black shirt and just advertise it that way?
The interesting thing to me is of course it couldn't be him, right? You've got somebody who's driving in a car going, I don't know, 65, and it's working just
slow
fine.
Down.
Yeah, you've got Leroy, who is 1,000 miles away. He's working just fine. We have Alex, who calls in from Norway constantly, But of course, it's
We
us.
got Mel who calls in from Western Canada.
You had Beardson who was on for 2 hours and nobody muted him except for when he wouldn't shut the fuck up because the guy could not literally put two sentences together without just all over the place. And all of a sudden it's us. We're not muting the guy. We got him in here. Dude, it's hilarious. I wanted to interview the guy with an Israeli flag behind him. And all I was going to do is screenshot it and then ensure that all 5 of my listeners went ahead and spammed his feed. You know, the funny thing is, you guys, all this does is help me. This doesn't hurt at all. Doesn't hurt at all. All right, Wurs is joining. Let's see what he's got. That's the same guy. He must have created a new profile. Maybe he called in on a different thing. Let's find out. Now, if this works, I want an apology. I want an apology. We're not going anywhere. Just like the original question to Beardson, he never answered. It's interesting. He never does. Didn't seem to want to answer any questions. Let's see if we can get this guy in here. All right, Worst, can you hear us now?
Yes.
Hey!
I can hear you.
I want my apology.
For what?
For you saying that I muted
Your
you.
site's ass, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
No,
it sucks.
I would like an apology that all your people said that I was ducking you and muting you, and you know that's not true now. It was you. So do you want to go ahead and offer me an apology?
Oh, 1 sec. There we go. There.
Are you
I gotta put it up on my screen. Big stuff. I've never used this like boomer shit before.
Are you gonna offer an apology, or am I gonna kick you out in the first fucking 30 seconds because you're not man enough to admit you're wrong? Go ahead. I'll wait for you to admit you're wrong. Go ahead. It's simple. I'm sorry.
Bro, you're fucking egoed up, you gay boomer.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Maybe it wasn't the web. Hey, listen.
Okay, bye. See? All you had to do was say you were sorry. God. All you had to do was apologize. Hey, I made a mistake. It wasn't you. It was me. But this is typical. I win. You lose. Right. I'm not letting it back on. I want an apology. Type it in chat. I want an apology.
He was annoying.
Oh, they're all annoying. So easy. Do you know how? Listen to them. You know what's funny is they're like, "You're just losing it, boomer." You guys are the ones that fucking just like cry like little bitches on my show.
I was just gonna say he was the one who was just getting ready to tee off on.
I am so calm, dude. You guys are not. You guys are the lowest level trolls. Get Nick Fuentes here. At least that guy could fucking compete.
Please.
Just get Nick here.
If you guys are so loyal to him.
Nick, you know what I know about Nick? Go ahead, Liv.
If you guys are so loyal to him and know him so well, please get him on the show.
That's it. Bring him on.
Please have Nick come on the show. We would love to have him on.
You know what would be hilarious about that is Nick has had conversations with people and he at least demonstrates some sort of respect. You guys have never walked in here interested to have a conversation. All you want to do is spouse your fucking Third Reich shit. And you have never demonstrated one iota of why I should treat you with a modicum of respect. Just come in and do the same. All you had to do was say, "Hey, I'm sorry. You know what? It wasn't you. It was me."
Because all of a sudden it went from two calls where his phone didn't work or his mic didn't work, right? Yeah. Then he finally gets in.
He called. No. What happened was hold on. He called on his rig, his setup, right? His non-boomer setup, where my mic is more expensive than probably anything in his fucking house. But the fact that my setup, his setup doesn't work, so he has to call in on his phone, and it does work, and it's still my fault. Isn't that interesting?
Right. And then he blamed it on boomer shit.
I think now would be a really good time to plug the bracelets. What do you think?
I think that's fine. Listen, Kyrie, we're going to get on with the show. We got plenty to do here, and we don't have a lot of time to do with it. Did you have anything else you want to chime in on? And then we're going to go ahead and continue and let these guys go ahead and do what they do, which is post 1,000 posts and cry like little girls.
Before that, Kyrie, I just wanted to say it was really good hearing from you. It was good to meet you, and I really liked what you said.
Hey, great meeting you as well. I've heard a lot about you.
All right, buddy. Listen, I got to let you go.
Bye, Kyrie.
All right. I got to let you go. See you, buddy.
There, guys.
All right. Good job. Thanks for calling in. All right. We're going to give Words one more chance. We're going to give him one more chance. Everybody want to give him one more?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. Let's have a vote. I think we should listen. Let's do democracy in action. Now, I know this isn't a Volkskrag, but what our good friends on the other end of the line are used to. But let's have a vote. Okay, Olivia, you go first.
Sure.
Now, you remember all these things that these guys said to you, and all those things they said about you. You're still comfortable?
I have absolutely no problem talking to him. I'm not afraid of him. Let
All
him
right.
say that to my face. I'm going to wear my I support Israel bracelet while we have this conversation, though.
You're such a Zionist.
I know.
All right. Well, let's get him on. He's here.
He's trying to.
And I'm wait. And unless I get my apology,
zwei, drei. You know, this kid's like trying.
I want an apology.
Nine.
I don't even need an apology. I just need an admission that it wasn't my system, but yours. And you can say whatever you want. And I will be amicable and kind, even though you've never given me any of that grace. Here you are. All right, Worse. Are you going to go ahead and admit that it wasn't my system, but yours?
I'd like to deeply apologize to callmyshow.com. I was too retarded to use it, and I'm a big silly guy. That's my fault. All right. Now let's talk about these Jews.
No, it's not all right. It's not all right. It's not all right.
New York.
All right.
New York.
So, I'll amend my apology. What comes next?
If you want to have an amicable conversation, let's try to have one.
Yeah.
It's not going to be you just going ahead and spewing for 20 minutes. If you have a question, ask a question, and I'll be happy to try to answer it.
Okay. Why do you? I don't know. Why are you so retarded on Israel? Thoughts?
It's not a question. I'm not going. The premise doesn't even make any sense.
There was a question. All right. So why do you support Israel so much? Why are you big on Israel?
Demonstrate how I've supported Israel.
In your words on the podcast I've watched up to this point.
Give me a specific example, please.
Okay. You don't think that Israel bombed a Christian hospital?
I don't.
I think that was
why is that?
I have a video on it. Would you like to watch it?
No, I did watch it, but it doesn't take into account a lot of crucial information done by non-biased sources, such as the Doppler mapping of the missile trajectory, and then the fact that the IDF's phone call about it that they said was from Hamas, that an independent organization said that the audio was clearly very manipulated.
Which organization?
Earshot.ngo did a big write-up on it, and they say it's clearly manipulated from two separate audio sources. So they spliced two conversations together.
Okay, so
digital analysis.
Your argument is okay. So let's
the Jews
go ahead
lie.
and back up. You're a lot like Beardson. You're not interested in having me have a conversation with you. You just
I'm willing to hear you out, friend.
Hold on.
Leroy, just wait 1 second. Let's establish some decorum, because I'm not going to do this. I've already did this with him for 2 hours. I'm not doing it with you two. If you want to have a conversation, then stop the fucking grab ass. Okay? I'm not going to play that game with you guys. I do it all the time. I've already given and given you all the time you deserve. If you want to have a conversation about my opinion or Leroy's opinion or Olivia's opinion, can you just possibly demonstrate a little bit of respect? And I'll do the same. Is that fair?
Well, respect is earned, right, friend?
Okay.
Respect easily given.
No, friend.
Means nothing.
I'm
right,
not
friend?
the one dropping N-bombs in here, friend. I'm not the one who's dropping anti-Semitic. Of course you did it, but these are your followers, and you're bringing it into my chat. So I don't want
I didn't
it
say the freaking N-word. I have not said a single swear.
Once again, your group does this all the time. And if you're going to come on the show and you want to have a real conversation where I'm not treating you like the bitch you're being, then I would ask you to demonstrate a modicum of respect, and I will do the same. If you can't do that,
all right, I will behave and be nice.
You don't have to be clean. You can cuss, nice. You can yell, you can be pissed off. I'm asking you to demonstrate a little bit of respect. Great.
When it's
Leroy,
your turn,
go ahead.
I'll stop.
Leroy, go ahead.
So if your big moral linchpin to the Jewish people is that you believe that they have lied, then in any case where Hamas has lied, or in any case where any of the Middle Eastern countries have lied, and it can be documented, do you then just kind of back out of that argument completely? How does that work?
I'm talking about a specific occurrence, okay, about whether or not the hospital was bombed. In this specific hospital, because they've admitted to bombing quite a few other hospitals and apartment complexes. So I don't really see the relevance of it. I think it's war and both
please
people
tell me
lie.
Where they've admitted. Hey, real quick, where did they admit? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I got to make sure you guys tend to go and bring a lot of stuff at once. Please tell me where Israel has admitted to targeting and bombing hospitals on purpose.
It was their policy all last week, where you
once again,
genuinely
don't do. I know you wanted to go and try, but this is the new and improved you, right? We're not going to go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Please, can you
I'll
stop deflecting? Stop deflecting and answer the question. Please tell me where Israel has stated that they purposely targeted hospitals. I didn't ask anything about apartment complexes because I've already completely agree with you that they have hit apartment complexes. Now, whether you believe that those apartment complexes are full of people or not, or there was any warning given to them, that's neither here nor there. We can discuss that. But I'd like to know where specifically you have heard anyone from IDF or any form in the government that Israel has said we are specifically targeting hospitals.
It is, sorry, I think I found the gotcha. So they were targeting Hamas fighters or genuine, legitimate military targets hidden in hospitals, right? Not hospital. Like, I'm not saying necessarily that they're like, oh, we're just out here killing sick kids, right? But at the end of the day, 21 hospitals or whatever did get blown up, right?
Have there been hospitals that have been hit from bombings? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, over 20, right?
And no, I can't confirm or deny that. You can give me the source if you want. I can try to confirm it, but I can't give you a number because I don't know. And you're saying this week they bombed 20 hospitals. That's your statement. What's your source?
Like last 2 weeks since the conflict started. Yeah.
What's your source?
All right. I'm going to have to ask the friends in chat. I don't want to slow everything down.
No, we're not slowing it down, but you don't get to
I'll concede the point.
Wait, whoa. I don't want you to concede the point. And I don't want you, listen, I don't have a full research department here either. So if your viewers are going to give
I just don't want to stop.
Hold on. If they're going to feed your comments like they did with Beardson, where he couldn't come up with anything on his own, but his viewers were feeding and he was reading off of his screen, everyone knew that. I don't think you're that dumb. I think you're a pretty smart guy. So why don't we just go ahead and stop talking about all the stuff that we can't necessarily prove, and let's talk about the bombing, because that's specifically what you have a bone of contention with me on. Do you believe a hospital was hit?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you show me some, you guys are all about evidence, right? You're all about proof. You guys want to prove that the babies were beheaded. You want to prove that, that women were raped and all this other stuff. I get that. Can you concede that you saw the blast radius? Can you concede that you saw that it hit in a parking lot? Could you see that the structural damage around those shots were absolutely negligible? Do you agree with that or not?
Well, I mean, even Israeli sources are claiming like it's the real number of deaths is like 300. So I don't think it was like a negligible explosion, right?
Once again, you have photographic evidence, you have drone evidence, you've seen the heat signatures, you've seen the photos that I put up of what happened there. You saw the explosion from two different angles. Please explain to me, did it hit a hospital or did it hit a parking lot?
It hit a hospital parking lot.
Right. That's a pretty big distinction.
Resulting in the death of like 300 people, right?
And now, okay, once again, that's not the question. The question is, did Israel bomb that hospital? That's what we're arguing. And my point was, let's first establish where the strike took place. And I think we've established
I watched your video. You said that they were using white phosphorus as a warning, right? So do you think that Israel missed?
At certain altitudes. No, that's not what I said in the video. What I said is that in previous strikes throughout the last 3 years, in 2021, during the 6-Day War, and also in other times that Palestine has had engagements with Israel, and specifically Hamas, they will use white phosphorus at certain altitudes, anywhere from 500 to 1,000 feet, which puts a very harmless cloud in the sky. We're not using white phosphorus on the ground. You're not hitting targets as a warning. It's like just like signal flares. It's the same exact thing. So for you to say that white phosphorus is being used as a chemical weapon or some prelude to chemical warfare.
Didn't you say that they sent a warning with the white phosphorus?
No, I said they actually didn't on this occasion, because they actually said they did not do that. Now, that's what IDF said, whether that's true or not, but they had done it over apartment buildings because these buildings are full of people who obviously are terrorists. Now, if you're going to say that Hamas does not go ahead and use human, non-terrorists and civilians as shields, you at least understand that, right? You agree with that? Or is your bone of contention is that you're supporting Hamas? Because it sounds like
No, I don't support Hamas.
Well, who do you
I just think
support
that
in this?
Israel is also a terrorist state. I think Hamas are terrorists if we're willing to use that type of language. But we must also apply the definition of terrorism accurately and equally to all participants, right? So if they're
Yeah.
out there, loss of life to civilians for political purposes, a history of doing just exactly that over the last 20 years, a history of shooting civilians for fun, many scandals about that over the last 20 years. I think that Israel's also a terrorist state.
So if you're looking at it in terms of like this giant grayscale of terrorism, and some people or some groups do these horrible things, right? And you're firmly admitting that you believe that Israel lands on that scale somewhere, then where do you place Hamas on that scale?
Or where do you place the United States?
I think under the Obama regime, we're definitely a terrorist state. I agree with the overall principle of, America is the great Satan. I am an American patriot and nationalist, though, but we are literally the great Satan. I think terrorist is simply a term that we use to describe people that we don't like, or more accurately, that the establishment American regime does not like, right? It's just a slur to justify crimes against humanity.
Kind of like Zionism.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I didn't say you're wrong. I just said that you're pretending that monikers aren't done on all sides. You do it too. You do it with the Jews.
Right.
So, okay, so let's get back to, you know what? I'm not going to disagree with anything you said, because I don't necessarily think it's to, yeah. Go ahead, Leroy.
So in your eyes then, with America being the great Satan, as you put it, can you name a country that is less free than the United States and or more idealistic or more close to what you feel is a moral line? Which country falls in your moral line then? What do you think the United States should be like? Is
it Russia?
I'm not anti-Russia. I don't know if it's a bastion of freedom. I think that our entire concept of freedom is a bit incorrect. I would say Switzerland's a very good country. I'd say even Denmark is all right. I like Russia. I think Russia's more, and I don't think Russia's more free than us. I think they're better than us. But a big part of being great Satan is all the millions and millions of dollars we send via the CIA to ideologically destroy other countries, right?
There's a lot there to unpack. Can we go back? Can we go back to Russia?
Okay.
So just, do you have a first name so I can? Do you share that?
Yeah, Alex. People? You can call me Alexander.
Alex. Yep. Which one do you prefer, Alex or Alexander?
I prefer Alexander, but if we're friends at the end of this, maybe you can call me Alex.
Well, friends is that's earned too. We'll see.
Yeah.
If we can stop insulting my wife.
I can insult your wife,
brother. Your crew. All you got to do is say, "Hey guys, you can't do that," because if my guys were doing that,
I'm the one who thinks that you're too mean to her. I'm on her side against you.
Well, she's definitely against you. So don't worry about that, because you have a funny way of being chivalrous. I'm just letting you know. It's interesting that you castigate me with that brush, but you're not willing to look at yourself and the way you guys treat women.
So Alexander,
can I ask him his question real quick, Leroy? Just to get this one out, because I
need to know. Hey, Leroy, we're being civil here, Leroy.
I need to know this. So when you say that Russia is not the bastion of freedom, you believe that Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Scandinavian countries are truly the most free places in the world. Yeah?
I mean, listen, brother, the whole world fucking sucks, man. You know what I mean? So there's not really an ideal state. I think Switzerland's probably at the top of my list. They have gun rights. They have a decent social welfare program, but without sacrificing capitalism and the actualization of one's human goals. So I think that, and it's a beautiful fucking country, right? I don't really care about Denmark, Sweden.
Do you know what the tax rate is in Sweden?
No, I don't.
Do you know what their overall GNP is assigned to defense?
Oh, in Sweden?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Sweden's a hellhole, dude. I didn't say Sweden. I said Denmark. And that was because they started cracking down on Muslims recently.
Okay, so make sure I understand. I thought you said Sweden. Maybe that misspoke, or I misinterpreted. The country you're saying is the best as far as freedom and overall social welfare systems and everything else, and speech and gun rights is Denmark, Finland, Switzerland. Thank you, Switzerland.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what the tax rate is in Switzerland?
I don't know. I assume it's marginal, like America. Let me look it up. I got you, friend.
You don't need to look it up. You don't. It's okay. I was just wondering if you did.
I'm interested. I have ADHD. I'm a Zoomer.
Fair enough. You're not the only one. Even us boomers who aren't boomers have the same thing. You'd be surprised. Maybe we have more
the average tax rate is 18.5%.
Right. Now, overall income tax, do you have that one too?
Net average tax rate is all I got.
Yeah, let's do a combined tax rate, and I'd be interested to see that. Also, what's the amount, if you could look it up too since you're there, and I can look it up too, but their overall GNP to defense. How much are they giving to defense?
0.67% in 2022.
And who is the number one contributor to their national defense in the United States? Do you know which country that was?
I have no clue, friend.
That would be the United States of America. That would be the United States of America. So now when we're upset,
not in NATO.
Excuse me, if we are going to go ahead and get upset about Israel, do you think maybe we might go ahead and hold to the bastions of freedom, Switzerland, that we're paying for their national defense? And maybe that's not. Why
they're not in NATO.
You're not hearing me. NATO is immaterial to the conversation. I'm telling you who supplements Switzerland's national defense. Something to think about.
Via what? Like NATO? That's why I brought up NATO, right? Because it's generally NATO military spending, right? Anyway, what's the point?
Wait a second. See, what's my point is that we have an issue with us giving money to Israel. We have an issue with us giving money to Jordan and Afghanistan, I'm sure, and Iraq during the Iraq War. And we eclipsed in 2019, $4.6 billion to Afghanistan. And then we came in second with Israel at $3.6 billion, followed by Jordan and a few other countries. During the Iraq War, we gave more money to them. Beardson made a comment that it was foreign aid, but foreign aid makes up more than just national defense and military. So looking from a military standpoint, we've given, $336 billion to Israel over the last, 50 years. That's an incredible amount. But in the last 2 years, we've given $135 billion to Ukraine. So I understand where you're coming from. I don't think we should send the amounts of money that we're sending over to different countries. I just wonder why you take umbrage with countries on your list like Israel or Afghanistan and Jordan. I'm assuming you do take umbrage with those, but not Scandinavian countries.
Okay. Yeah. So my biggest issue isn't about military spending or even foreign aid. I think foreign aid is pretty minimal on my list of grievances. I think that Zionists have a control over America, which essentially no other country does, via lobbying organizations such as AIPAC. I think that we've even seen very recently with the anti-BDS stuff that's pretty much the only thing that Congress can be nonpartisan about and rally together behind. Right? Even Ron DeSantis, who's making it illegal in Florida to talk shit about Israel. Like this is some crazy influence that
how do you make it illegal? Okay, so I'm just going to touch on the last comment because we're all over the place. Help me understand. How do you make it illegal to not talk about Israel? Are you referring to hate crime? Are you referring to hate crime legislation that's going through? Because I'm a little bit. I don't necessarily agree with that either, because I don't think you should be able to censor people. I think there should be repercussions for the things that people say, but you should have the freedom to say it if you want to. What specifically are you saying that he's making it illegal? Which pieces of legislation has he put through that if you mention Israel or speak bad about Israel, that the punishment is what? XYZ. Tell me what the punishment is.
Fines. So anti-Semitism being categorized as hate speech, and no longer protected speech. So I think it only extends to fines, but my memory of the new laws might not be up to par. I don't think they're sending anyone to jail, but the fining over speech at the very least is crazy, right? And a breach of free speech.
I mean, yet we're all taxed on speech. Your guy knows that more than anything, Nick Fuentes. I mean, they deplatformed the fucking guy and took his livelihood away. Whether I agree with what he says or not, I at least give him the position that I think he should be able to say it. So DeSantis is going ahead and doing that. Do you believe the stats that come out that say that 51% of what's classified as hate crime has to do with people of Jewish descent, Judaism, and Israelis in the United States, that is a concern? Or do you believe that that's a made-up stat?
What, that there's a rise in anti-Semitism? Do I believe that's real?
That 51% of the religious hate crime, as it's described, happens at an alarming rate for Jews versus Muslim people or Christians or anybody else. I just wondering if you believe that stat, and if you do believe that stat, do you believe it's something we should do to prevent or assist in ensuring that doesn't happen? And if Ron DeSantis is making that move, is that not something that we would want if the roles were reversed? If Christianity has seen a huge decline in the United States, it's continuing over the next 30 years to be considered to be less than 50% of the United States identifies as Christians. At some point, a minority number will be reached. And if we are being targeted or people are committing crimes against us, I think we would want someone to assist or step in or make it something to protect us, because that's what the government's supposed to do, right, is protect its people. So is it just you don't like DeSantis, or you think that there's no need for this policy?
I think DeSantis represents a large majority of both right and left Congress people who are entirely owned and beholden to Zionist interests. This guy was a governor of Florida touring around Israel, giving handshakes to all the top guys in Israel. What does a governor of Florida have to do in Israel? I think that most of those stats...
Gavin Newsom was in China today. Can you believe that shit? I mean, that must have made you frustrated too, because it pissed me off. He was in China. Xi Jinping was getting a handy from Newsom. Same thing. Right?
Yeah, and all I think is that we should recognize that it's not just China, right? Maybe China's a big issue. China definitely hates us. They've been waging cyber warfare against us for years. They have a very negative influence against us. They colonized essentially all of Africa. They have the 13 Pearls set up. They're economically at war with us, even if we don't want to admit it, right?
I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying.
That Israel is a similar state, and they are not, in fact, allies. I remember I was watching one of your shows, and it said you were talking about that Israel has a nuclear arsenal. Where did they get that nuclear arsenal? They stole it from us through espionage, and then they sold it to China, right?
Okay.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that at all.
No.
Americans died in Virginia. They were attempting to steal refined uranium. They were doing it incorrectly, and American citizens died of radiation poisoning.
Yeah, I can't. Listen, it's not that I want to deny or confirm. There's things that you obviously have researched that I haven't, and I guarantee there's things that I've researched that you haven't. If that winds up being true, I certainly would love to have that conversation, so I can't confirm or deny. Not something I have ever heard. I went to intelligence school in Virginia. I've spent time with three-letter agencies. I live in Virginia now. I've had China as an AOR on intel dockets. I've never heard that, but once again, I'm willing to concede that you say it happened. I would like to go ahead and research it before I speak on it.
It's called the Apollo affair.
Fair enough. And I'm not going to say that espionage didn't happen. This happened with Russia, not the bastion of freedom. Russia did the same thing. There was a secret war in the 80s between the KGB, Politburo, CIA,
but there are
and FBI.
enemies.
Well,
Sorry.
I understand, but I understand that. And if you assume that our friends don't watch us as closely as our enemies, then geopolitical situations may not be your forte. It sounds like you know quite a bit about it, and I think you can assume that even people who consider you to be allies have put us in situations. Britain did it. England did that when it came to Iran, and the Ayatollah and the Shah of Iran when it came to inserting and circumventing their government. They weren't always a terrorist state. I understand these things, and the United States has made mistakes. I'm not going to say they haven't. I think we should afford those same mistakes to other countries who've done them. Now, as far as this stealing of nuclear secrets and uranium and stealing our enrichment program, that's not my understanding. But once again, I'm willing to research it and concede it and not say either way. My point being is you have this notion that at least the people sitting here somehow have a full-throated defense of Israel when it comes to who they are, their claim to their land, and their military action against Palestine. And I'm here to say that the arguments that have been made here is the attack that took place on Israel was abhorrent, that it was a terrorist act, and Israel has every right to defend itself and its land. That is my statement, and that is my argument. I do not believe military intervention from the United States should be there from anything other than defense.
Does he agree with that?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Alexander, do you agree with that? Do you think we should provide some sort of defense? Do you think we should protect our assets in the Middle East? Is it important to have Israel survive in the Middle East? What are your thoughts on that from a geopolitical and military situation? Do you agree that it needs to be protected?
I don't think that Israel has ever benefited us. You look like a veteran. Were you?
Yeah. Were you?
No, I almost joined, but then they tried to vax everybody.
You should. You mind if I ask how old you are, Alex? Alexander.
I'm 25.
Sorry. Have you thought about joining?
Yeah. I went through MEPS. I did all the training. I was about to sign on the dotted line, and then they told me I'd have to get the COVID vax, or else they're just going to dishonorable me instantly. So I didn't end up going through it. Army.
What branch? Do you know what you were thinking of doing in there? And I'm not trying.
Yeah,
to
I wanted to do infantry. I would be going in as a officer. Even though I got a 99 on the ASVAB, I'm just going to flex that real quick. Smart guy, genius guy.
It's okay. I was top 3%
I ended up not doing it because of that. What?
I said I was top 3% in Colorado. So it's an interesting ASVAB scores. I'm surprised they didn't try to go ahead and recruit you for nuke or hand you over to the Navy, because usually people who pop 99, they get them in for engineering or nuke tech or higher level.
No, and the one that didn't have mechanics or just the other one, not mechanics or electronics, I think it was, right?
Yeah, 11 Bravo is just it seems a little low rent for your IQ and your smarts.
Yeah, I wanted to kill. I wanted to kill.
Well, yeah, you'd be grossly disappointed. A lot of the time it's just hurry up and wait. But okay, so you've got patriotic sense. You want to serve your country. That's great. A lot of generation your age don't. Should we still protect Israel or not? I think you
dodged your question there. Can I circle back?
Yeah, you didn't dodge anything. You at least the conversation's somewhat amicable. Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. I just mean that we got a bit distracted.
We did.
Listen, if I was an Israeli Jew or if I was just an American Jew, I'd be Netanyahu's top guy. Okay, but I'm not. I am a white Catholic American. Okay, so my interests are that of the American people and the American people alone, right? And Jesus Christ also. I don't see any benefit to getting involved in the Middle East in endless forever wars on behalf of an ally who has sunk the USS Liberty, who has stolen nuclear secrets, who all the time is running Mossad operations against us on our own soil, which we catch them doing constantly. They have really and the reason I asked you about your military service, they didn't help in Iraq. They didn't help when we were in the Middle East. We're out there fighting wars on their behalf to make them safer. And all of a sudden, nothing matters. They're giving us thoughts and prayers. Why are they our ally? What geostrategic help are they giving us? Why do you feel obligated to sell bracelets on behalf of the IDF? Right?
Well, Okay, so let me answer that question. That's a good question, and I agree with some of it, and I disagree with other parts. Let's go ahead and answer the first part first. They didn't help in Iraq. I completely agree, 100%. Was chicken shit. They were firing missiles. Kuwait, Iraq was firing Scuds into Israel. We provided the Patriot missile systems. And in the end, they were also facing fronts from Lebanon. They were also facing fronts from Egypt. And any entrance into that conflict would have made Israel extremely vulnerable, more than they would have. Now, is that Israel's decision alone? No. Is it a decision that we see also the United States government has a leash on Israel in a lot of ways? You see that now. They want to go storming into Gaza. They want to clear West Bank, and the United States is holding them back and obviously pulling on their leashes to do so. I wonder if the United States would have been the same way after 9/11 with what we did with Afghanistan and Iraq, when we went in and bombed and killed civilians, and no one seemed to care about that. But it's neither here nor there. Are you going to say to? Am I going to say to you that Israel has been the most ardent ally of the United States? No. Do I believe that Israel might be the lesser of all evils in the Middle East? Yes, I would even agree with that. Do I believe that they have? Some people laughed when I said that they've had atrocities, they've made mistakes, they've made poor decisions, but that's truly what it is. Geopolitically, why is Israel important? So there's a few reasons. Predominantly, if you look at it in 1980, 1990, 2000, it was oil and our interest in oil. I don't believe that's the interest now. Is the Middle East is one of the largest areas of throughfare, trade, exports, and that country is extremely important from a tactical advantage for the United States with the amount of bases that we have and a strategic point in essentially
in Israel?
Center, in the Middle East.
The trade
we don't have any
comes out
bases in Israel.
Something like
You're not listening. Middle East. It is a strategic advantage to have the Middle East be as stable as possible and not have open conflict, open proxy, and multiple superpowers and multiple countries on a land grab like we were in the 1980s and 1990s. They treated it like Japan after World War II. And after World War II, Russians came in and tried to steal land from Japan after we dropped the nukes. The United States wanted to go and fight Russia at that point when they were at their weakest. That's what MacArthur and Patton both wanted, and Douglas. The point I'm trying to make is that Israel is in that state, something that we have invested billions upon billions of dollars into, and the necessity of Israel and the importance of them during the Gulf Wars and during OIF and OEF, maybe not as important as it is today, but it's still an alliance in the Middle East. And if we do not have any alliance in the Middle East, that's not in America's best interest. That's the best answer I can give you. Leroy might be able to expand on it and give you additional insight. Leroy, do you have something?
The ties that go back to that particular chunk of land for us they go back to the mid 40s, and it's more than just an economic relationship. It's a historic and cultural relationship as well. That being said, I understand what he's saying, large swaths of it. But it seems like he is not a fan of Israel just because of either the money that tends to flow in or out of there, but simultaneously discounting other countries which also use their money as leverage to do more evil acts. So I'm just wondering where the moral ground here is.
Or is it because Alexander, is it because this is present and it's like this is in our face now and this is going on? Or were you this adamant against other countries? For instance, Ukraine. Were you just as adamant against Ukrainians and the money we're giving them? Were you just as adamant about money that's been going into Mexico or Cambodia or South America with drug ops? The money we give to Africa? That's my question. Is it all of this, or is it
it's
just
not about the money?
Okay. Go ahead. You clarify what's it about.
Yeah. I feel like we keep hitting this where you keep asking me about foreign aid. I don't care about foreign aid. I'm an economist. Okay. I don't believe that money's real. right? Like at that scale, okay, we have 129% debt to GDP ratio. Okay, our economy doesn't exist. It works on fairy dust. I don't care if we send a couple $1 billion to Israel. I don't care if we send a couple $1 billion to fucking Mars, dude. It's not about the money. It's about the absolute and total influence and corruption of our government that makes me adversarial to Israel. Okay, and the reason that I have beef against Ukraine, I guess a bit about the money, but also it's the main beef I have with Ukraine is that it was very clearly a CIA-run operation to destabilize the country. They ran a coup in order to get Zelensky in.
Yep.
Yeah, they ran a coup to get Zelensky in, and then they tried to get them into NATO despite the line in the stand, knowing that it would spark it. We didn't think Russia would go in. Here we are, right? It's not about the money. We talk about the influence that the Saudis have. We talk about the influence of Qatar. But we have American Israel PAC in America. That is one of the largest, most influential lobbying organizations in America. You will have Chuck Schumer, Jewish, Nancy Pelosi. You will have Ted Cruz, top Republicans, all sitting in the same room, sitting there listening to a rabbi talk about how important it is to protect Israel. No other country has that. It's fucking illegal for any other country to have that. But due to our special little relationship, the Zionists are able to absolutely bold-faced bribe our politicians.
Okay. Holy shit. All right. So what's I can see why people like you, because you tie things together that make sense, and then you also tie a couple things in there that don't, but it all sounds really, really good. So my point is not to challenge and defend. Let's establish this. You just said it's not about economy, but that's what you started with. You started with overall the investment that we made in Israel. So I tried to address that for you. Then it started into Israel's expansion into the United States and influence. So I tried to address that, and that was a failure. Then you started talking about maybe it was before this. You started talking about the hospital bombing. I tried to go ahead and ask you questions about that, and you switched gears. So like we haven't had and finished any of our conversations. Now it's that the money doesn't matter. And it's not important. And now you're saying it's because a rabbi, well, the Pope has sat in Washington, D.C. as well. You have had Greek Orthodox sit with the president as well. You have multiple religions. You have a Mormon with Mitt Romney who's met with the president and in the Oval Office. Now, I understand where you're coming from. Israel has a lot of influence in the United States. You asked me the question, why do we put that much money? Maybe you didn't ask this specifically, but I get the general. Why is Israel in our best interest? Our dollar that you mentioned, that money that's fake, that money is no longer, there's no more silver certificate, there's no more gold standard, that our money is tied to petroleum and it's tied to oil. And that is why the United States has latched their American dollar, and that is why most of these countries trade in the American dollar through their oil purchases and selling. That is in our best interest to ensure that that area keeps producing oil, keeps going ahead and distributing oil at a rapid clip, and we don't see the increased barrel lack of productivity or the overall cost to go up because of supply and demand, because our dollar is attached to it. That's the interest. Now, whether that is a suitable answer for you or not, but Israel does play sheriff in the Middle East. And you may not agree with that, but there is a reason why Israel has not been steamrolled and not been taken over, and that territory has not been claimed by Muslims and Arabs, is because of the nuclear deterrence that they possess. And it does keep countries that have been fighting for 3,000 years in check.
Is he an anarchist by chance?
I don't think so. I don't think
I'm
so.
a Baptist.
You're what?
No, I'm like no.
But what's your political ideology, Alexander? What's your political ideology? Is it all politics are bad? Because I keep the whole common denominator in this argument is that everything's fucked. It's never going to get any better. It's all bad. It doesn't matter whether it's government, the monetary system. That the only thing we can fall back on is God, Christ, the Holy Ghost, and the teachings of God. And if that's your belief, I can't really disagree with you with that. But it's all kind of, you seem very passionate for someone who doesn't care about what's happening. And where are you, by the way?
No, I do care a lot, man. No, I'm not an anarchist. I'm definitely way more authoritarian. But I also believe in like an anti-federalist system of local communal government leading up a cursus honorum towards the legislative, but with a very strong executive and limited rights when it comes to like degeneracy and other stuff. Economically, I'm like a Christian capitalist, where I think that capitalism should take a backseat to societal necessities and morality. You know, like I think porn should be banned. I know it would be economically poor for porn to be banned. It would cause dead weight loss in the economy, but I'm willing to accept that because I think it's a societal bedrock that we have decent Christian morality.
Virginia did. Did you hear about that?
No. Wasn't it Utah?
No, it's Virginia. So Pornhub, all the major, I can't give them to you. I know there's a few, but the major pornographic sites that are free, that don't require membership, they're not even allowed to access anymore in Virginia. You have to go it through VPN or by proxy to do it. And that was something Virginia did. And I can't disagree with it. I don't think kids should have access. And if you do want access, you should have to prove that you're 18 years old, just like buying a pack of cigarettes, or 21 when you go and drink. So we're a nation of laws for a reason, and it seems the citizenry has to follow them, but the politicians don't. I don't think we're horribly off base on a lot of stuff. I think even with Bairdson, some of the conversation that we had was decent, but it seemed like every time we got on the conversation of Israel, your guys' trope is that I'm a Jew, which is not accurate. Do you think I'm Jewish?
I have another couple of questions.
Well, let me ask him this, because this is important. He knows what I'm talking about, because a lot of them think because my great grandmother fled Germany that I'm a practicing Jew, or that it's in my family. What do you think?
Okay, I think. Listen, don't get mad. All right. Based on Talmudic law, you are ethnically Jewish. Okay, you're matrilineally descended from one of the tribes of Israel, therefore ethnically you're Jewish. I think that you got enough goy blood in you to pass. I think you're all right. And if you're not religiously Jewish, then that's fine. But like the matrilineal descendant, that is how they base it, right, in Israel. So you could probably get birthright citizenship to Israel.
I make those arguments myself.
Your wife isn't Jewish, right? So you sort of ended that Jew line there.
Honey, are you Jewish?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so that solves
right, so
it. Do you want to?
You can go to Israel, but your kids can't.
Can I address two things? And I think it's important because you did mention them, and I'm just thinking about it in our conversation. You asked about the bracelets, and then Leroy, I know you had a couple questions too.
Yeah.
Olivia, do you since I'm the abuser of abusers, and I don't let you have an opinion, and I'm a dick. And
can we talk about that?
Sure, you can. Of course we.
Go
Of
ahead.
course we
if you
can.
have any questions,
Of course we can. Go ahead.
be my guest.
I think he's a bit snarky. For my taste, and a bit passive aggressive. Tell me if I'm crazy. I know you got to show up for your man. I respect you.
Do you mean snarky? I didn't know snarky was a word.
Olivia, what are you doing? Why do that? We're finally getting to a good place here. We're trying to be nice.
I'm from New England, and this is how she treats me.
She was being snarky. Listen, man, I grew up playing hockey. I get it. So we can go into the Bostonian thing if you want to. But they've
shown me no respect.
I understand, and you know what? They haven't really shown me any respect either. But we're finally getting to a place where at least a conversation's taking place, and I would rather have that than the precursor. So, what do you think? Do you not want to get involved at all?
And I don't know if this guy
didn't. I don't know if this guy did any of that.
If they have a direct question for
they're
me,
asking
I would
about
love
me.
to answer it.
Alexander, can you recite it? Say it again, and so Olivia can answer that one. And don't make fun of his accent. Come on, that's not. Right.
I believe that your husband is snarky and a bit passive aggressive. And I listen. Hey, that was my criticism. Okay. And I think you guys should talk about it, because I think you need masculine form discipline, not feminine form. And don't take that personal. It's just passive aggressive.
I don't take it personal at all.
I hate to see the passive aggressiveness and the snark, right?
Okay.
Who is he passive aggressive
Okay.
to? Or are
My
you
turn.
saying he's passive aggressive to me?
I'm your
Leroy, let her
advocate, but you keep
answer.
coming at me. I'm doing marriage counseling here, and you're just attacking me for my birth.
Okay, so I guess
That's
we're
a
not going
lot
to get in. Olivia,
That's a
I would
lot.
love just a conversation and not take it personal. It's
No,
up to
I
you.
asked.
What did you ask? I'm sorry.
I asked him, who is he passive aggressive to? Because
Yeah,
he
who-
thinks you're passive
Oh, to
aggressive.
you.
I'm wondering.
To you.
Okay. If that's your opinion, great. Tell me, when was
All
the
right,
last
fair.
time you came over to
Fair
our
enough.
house and spent personal time with us? Oh, never? So you have no idea who we are as a couple. You have no
Yeah, I just
idea
got
who
on
we
it.
are as people.
All right, fuck it. I'm team men. Fuck this bitch. Am I right? Let's go, bro fist. Let's go. Team men.
Oh.
Come on.
Okay.
No, I'm.
So apparently,
Let's
who's
get back to
passive
Israel.
aggressive now? Because you won't let me talk.
No, that's
Yeah.
just aggressive. I'm just being aggressive now.
It's also interesting that you like to criticize other people for your own inequities.
What do you mean?
Because I've never talked to my wife like you just did.
Yeah, aggressively, not passive aggressively. Like the masculine and feminine. That's what
It's
I'm talking
amazing.
about. Anyway, let's get
which
back to
box
Israel.
No, let's not. It's amazing what box you check that you find morally and socially acceptable simply because it happens 3 centimeters between your own eyes. And that's an extremely naive way to go through life. And you can call it your ADHD, a personality disorder. You can talk all those type of things, probably OCD and everything else, and a little bit of self-loathing, I would assume.
No, you're
but
really
that has nothing-
psychologizing. Listen to your wife. Have you ever
just
been
did
to
the
my
same- You
house?
just did the same thing. No.
Have you ever
but
been
that
to my
wasn't-
house
but
and
that
seen the
wasn't
way
my-
that I
wasn't
talk to my
that
girl?
wasn't-
No,
that
you
wasn't
haven't,
my
right?
argument. That wasn't
Well,
my
So what are
if
you
argument.
you're
doing?
willing to
Hold on a
say
second. Hold
that-
on. That wasn't my argument. That was her argument. So you're confusing the two. I'm just letting you know what I see in regards to you. Now, saying I'm passive aggressive, absolutely. I'm sarcastic, bordering on sardonic. Absolutely. I'm not going to disagree with you. And have I expressed that to my wife at times? I'm sure I have. I'm absolutely sure I have, but I'm also sure I've never spoken to her in that way. And I find that to be a hell of a lot worse, but that's just me. But your girlfriend may enjoy that. Maybe she doesn't.
Okay. Can I
Go ahead, Leroy. Sure.
Can I get my question in there? All right.
Yes.
Yeah,
When I
you got
first
that, Leroy.
when I first asked you which way you were leaning, you basically said that first you had that Freudian slip and said that you were basically a fascist. But
It's not
then you
Floyd.
said
I'm
that you,
kind of like a
that you-
theocratic fascist, but it's more
but then-
complex than that. But I don't
you're
want
not
to.
then answering my
yeah.
question. Okay, hold on. But then you said that you feel like you're very authoritarian, and so I looked up Nick Fuentes' profile, right, and it shows that he's a far right-leaning Republican. So I got to ask, I mean, if you're so authoritarian, why would you not lean Democrat and Republican instead? Tell me about that. I'd like to know more.
I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, right? I think that the Republicans and Democrats are two sides of the same coin. I'm one of those guys, right? Like it's a uniparty. Neither Republicans nor Democrats represent the true interests of America. Republicans and Democrats are both loyal to their donors, which are the oligarchical multinational corporations and international Zionists and super capitalists. Like they don't care about a normal person like me. So I'm neither Republican nor Democrat. I'm a guy who's a Catholic American patriot.
I didn't answer the question. I don't think.
No, it didn't.
Sorry,
So-
what was why am I not a Democrat? Because I'm white. They hate white people. They want mass immigration. I disagree with every one of their policies. I lean Republican if I have to, because they are broadly anti-illegal migration, even if they're pro-legal migration on behalf of
They are. Okay, so now now it's time to get into the conversation because I'm fucking done with this. The Republican Party 20 years ago was all about illegal immigration, legal immigration, mass migration. Ronald Reagan was a proponent of it. They did it because Hispanics, Mexicans, Cubans, Hondurans, didn't matter, voted Republican. And the moment that shifted is when Republicans started talking about the border. Democrats wanted walls as recent as 10 to 12 years ago. And I can give you 100 clips from Obama to HRC to everyone in between wanting walls and saying walls work. I think you cherry pick the narrative that suits you, and you're unwilling to actually have the tough conversation.
Yep.
And admit that Republicans feel the
tough
exact same way.
Maybe I missed it. What's the tough conversation?
You just went ahead and told me Republicans care about borders and national security, and you're in line with them more than mass migration coming from Democrats. But I don't see you having a problem with that. That got us here. Out of those 11 to 21 million illegal immigrants that are here, a lot are owned by Republicans and their policies as well. But I didn't see you mention that.
Like 40 years ago, but the positions
40 years ago.
Yeah, 1980, right? 84, Reagan.
Yeah, that's when Reagan was in. That was the start of it.
California blue forever.
Right? Bush wasn't any better. Look at
I'm not a Republican. Yeah, and Bush was 20 years ago.
So what you're saying? You just said 40 years ago.
Which one is it?
Identify
yourself as leaning.
Well, we were talking about Reagan first, and then Bush, right?
No, we were talking Reagan first, and it started with Reagan, but it didn't end with Reagan.
Would you say that the Republicans are broadly anti-illegal immigration in the current year of 2023?
No. I would not. Wait, they are or aren't? They are. Yeah, they're I wouldn't say they're anti-illegal immigration in any way, shape, or form. Explain to me how they are. What policy did they pass in 2016, 2018 that actually stuck when they owned the House and Congress was there? What laws did they change? Every single law that was actually put into place was by Donald Trump as an executive order without the oversight of legislation. He had to do that. Republicans.
Yeah, we're on the same team then. I don't like Republicans. Right?
Okay, then why do you align with conservatives in any way, shape, or form? Who do you see? I mean, if there's no hope at all, dude, what are we doing?
I love Donald Trump. He's anti-establishment, but that establishment is right-wing and left-wing. I don't get what we're confused about here.
It's not confusion. It's simply a question. It's simply a question.
I'm saying I think he is deeply confused. I think he is absolutely trying to cherry pick certain values, and in doing so finds himself in these crosshairs where he can't really decide whether he's left, right, center, and in the meantime he's trying to assign labels to things he can't really comprehend. I find this kid to be deeply confused.
I'm not confused. I said I don't align with Republicans. I don't believe that they represent the will of the American people. I am right-wing. I believe in God. I believe in good Christian nuclear family morality. Okay,
but you also
I believe in zero. Listen, let me talk.
It's not politics. It's theology, though. You're taking
authoritarian.
It's exactly what he just said.
He said he was authoritarian 10 minutes
ago,
but now he's right wing.
Right wing can be authoritarian too.
No,
it can't.
Yeah,
are you a fishhook principle type guy?
Monarchies are right-wing authoritarianism.
You're a fishhook principle type of guy, right? You don't believe in the horseshoe method of politics. You're the fishhook.
No, I don't believe in horseshoe theory. No.
You don't believe in fishhook theory?
All right, then just call me a third positionist, and let's move on. Right. About where I lied on right versus left wing. I reject the paradigm of red versus blue. I'm a third positionist. I believe in staunch moral authoritarianism.
Got it. And you believe that the only person that can solve the problems of the United States is Donald J. Trump. There's nobody else, right?
No. I believe Donald Trump's inspired a lot of great people to make significant change. I believe in the Trumpian movement, mostly because it's anti-establishment migration. I don't think it's only Trump, but I think Trump is the most leading figure.
Who else would you put on that scale? Because Trump's got, let's face it, 2024 is it. So he gets it in 2024, gives him 4 years. By 2028, we're going to have to face Newsom, right? And that's what's happening. They're grooming that fucker to run. You and I both know it. This guy is completely an anti-constitutionalist. He hates the Constitution. He hates the Second Amendment. He's not a freedom of speech guy. He believes in big government. You're talking about legal immigration. This guy believes unfettered access to the border. You're not a Newsom fan, I would take it. So when Donald Trump is not there, who's going to take his place? Who do you think is warranted? Since it's no longer DeSantis. Because 9 months ago it was DeSantis, right? But now it's not DeSantis anymore.
Nick Fuentes, I support for president.
Yeah. So realism is also something you don't participate in.
Well, yeah, because he has to wait until the 2030s. No, I understand. No, I believe in 2024. It's got to be Donald Trump, and I kind of think the country's over if we lose in 2024. I'm one of those guys. I think that the migration is going to topple the country, and we'll never be able to win anything ever again. So yeah. I guess in that metric, it's only Donald Trump then.
What about the fact that second-generation Hispanics vote overwhelmingly lean right?
Where? In Florida
that's
only?
That's a fact. No, that's a fact.
No, Texas. Not in California, but that's it. You have San Diego Hispanics, Ventura, California, Orange County. You know what Orange County looks like. So California is dead. But if you go ahead and look at the predominantly southern and midwestern states, they do, minus Colorado.
Overwhelmingly.
Yeah. Second generation.
Second generation. Why don't you believe it? If we have to believe that Israel stole nuclear secrets from Virginia, and so did I.
Let me look this up.
And so did I. What part of Texas?
I'd rather not say. I don't want to get fucking.
Oh no, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's a big fucking place, though. Even if you mentioned a city, the chances.
Yeah. I live out in the desert. If that helps. I live near the border.
That's pretty safe. How's El Paso doing?
It's a hellhole, dude.
It is. I worked there. It sucked. Yeah, I know. I lived in Houston and I was in El Paso for, I don't know. Every time I visited one of my stores down there, it's not the best place in the world, of course. All right, look it up. Second generation Hispanic Americans predominantly vote Republican, conservative, or at least not Democrat. Let me see what you find out.
Yeah, in the meantime, you talk. You got it, man.
No, man. Listen. I don't have anything else to say. I think. Do you? Okay. Let me just ask you this. I asked. God, I can't remember the guy's name. Whatever. Beardson.
Root guy?
I asked him this. He was adamant that he doesn't hate anybody because he's religious, and I understand the sentiment, right? I understand the sentiment, but you don't want to protect the Jews. You don't like the Jews. You don't agree with the Jews. You think they're morally inferior. You think that they disrespect Christ. And, Beardson's arguments were that they believe that Jesus is in hell and in his own fecal matter and all this other stuff is what he said.
They do.
You talk about being direct and you think I'm passive aggressive. I think since this conversation turned at least into one that was at least amicable, I haven't been passive aggressive with you. And I think at the end of this, more than likely some shit will be talked like it was with Beardson. And then that entire facade of being amicable will drop off and then fuck me, fuck my wife, fuck my family. And I'm a piece of shit fucking Jew supporter, but I'm hoping without doubt that doesn't happen. I'm holding on to the faith that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm a cute, sweet little guy. I don't want to harass anybody. I just want to make some content and talk to people who disagree with me because it's fun.
I agree with you 120%, and that's impossible. So I disagree with you 100%. Let me know.
I don't hate Jews. I don't hate.
I know that,
but
do you? Just be honest with me. Be direct. Don't be passive aggressive. Just tell me. Do you hate Jews?
No, I don't. I try to keep my heart as clear of hate as is possible, as is Christian doctrine. Obviously, I'm a human. So when I see some things that makes me feel hate, of course I feel hatred. But I try to relinquish myself of that burden as quickly as possible. I'm definitely counter-Semitic. I'm definitely... I view them as antagonists, right? And we are at odds with each other, but we are taught to love our enemy as well, right? That's the revolutionary concept of Christianity. So I try my hardest not to hate them. I try to empathize with them as much as possible. And I think understanding it through the lens of I'm a nationalist, patriot, America firster. They are nationalist, patriot, Israel firsters. Them subverting us, controlling our Congress, all of that makes sense in actions. They're logical things to do, right? But I do find it hard not to hate when they hurt me and my people as significantly as they do. I view them as antagonists. I think that it is accurate that they hate us, right? They say in their Talmud, Jesus is in hell, burning. His mother Mary, Blessed Mother Mary, is a whore.
Do you think the Talmud is used with the Torah, or do you believe that there's certain writings in Scripture from all different facets of religion that have an extremist viewpoint, as the Talmud and the two rabbis that actually created it? I'm just asking here, do you really believe that's what's being spread around? Do you believe that's what it's happening in Jewish families? Because I don't know the answer to that. Because to be honest with you, I don't think you know many Jews, and you certainly probably don't spend a lot of time with them. And I have to openly admit that I don't have many friends anymore who are Jewish, simply because where I live, and it just happened to be that way. But do you really believe that that's what's being preached?
No, I don't think the average family of Jews goes, "Oh, let's gather together and read the Talmud." Right. Family. No, I think I think it's much more read by the rabbis, because that's what it is. It's the oral tradition of the rabbis.
Agreed.
But I think it should be concerning that the priestly class reads and makes determinations on prescriptions of the faith based upon the Talmud. But I know the Talmud is very, very heavily, it's essentially the real Bible, more so than the Torah.
Well, and the Old Testament would be then, correct?
Sorry?
The Old Testament would be as well. Is that correct?
Their construction of the Old Testament, yeah.
Hey, man, I'm going to pop smoke, man. I got to
get out of here. Thanks, buddy.
Bye, Leroy.
Leroy, thanks for stopping by. Hey, say goodbye to Alexander. He was...
Have a good one, Alexander. You take care.
Thanks, buddy.
You too, Fred.
All right. So, okay. I'm going to give you last word. Actually, I'm just going to say one thing. I would rather... Okay, let me ask this. Do you think I'm a betrayer to the United States and I'm not a patriot? I haven't asked that.
No.
I wanted to.
No, I don't. I was actually asked this question like 2 or 3 days ago when we were watching your show on stream. I think a lot of veterans... It's a very brutal thing. I'm sorry if I go into a long diatribe. I'm just going to warn you.
I'm the same way, bro.
My grandfather fought in the Second World War, and he had horrific PTSD. He was wounded a lot, and he became a Catholic deacon and found calmness and peace through the church that had raised him, and he died in his late 90s, and it was only then when he was able to look at the world and see the fucking horrors of how much the world has changed since he was a kid. And he told me he thought that we fought the wrong enemy in the Second World War. And I've never seen him more broken up about anything before in his life, because he was 17 in a foxhole.
Who did he think the real enemy? I'm not trying to cut you off. I apologize. Who did he think the real enemy was? And I just, you even said you go on it. So do I. So occasionally we're going to interrupt each other, and I don't take that personal ever. Like, I don't give a shit unless it's like literally on purpose and people are just being dicks. Who was the enemy in World War II to your grandfather? What did he think?
He thought that the real enemy was Bolshevism, or so the USSR, and then the different SSR.
And you believe the Jews were responsible for the Bolshevik Revolution, if I'm not mistaken. I think I garnered that from Beardson, right?
A lot of the intelligentsia was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So to bring it to you, I think it's very apparent that I think it's very apparent that the reason that we got involved in the Middle East was very similar to the reason we got involved in the Second World War. It wasn't really like a great crusade. It wasn't oil. The reason we got involved in the Middle East was because of the clean break memo, which Israel produced before any of this started as their strategy for the upcoming years. Who did they list as primary enemies? Syria, Iran. Okay. Why did we not go to war with Saudi Arabia? Why did we go to war with Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan? People who were completely unrelated, you know? It wasn't oil. Saudi Arabia has all the fucking oil in the world. It's because we were acting as a golem on behalf of Israel, fighting their wars for them to make them secure. That's why we were involved in the Middle East. And the reason that we care about Israel isn't because of geostrategic interests. It's not because they're a bastion of democracy. It's not because they're our older brothers in faith. The sad reality is that we have a government which is more or less occupied by, controlled, and owned by international dual citizenship Zionists, man. And it's very brutal. For a person who I assume suffered quite a lot in what they believed was honest, wholesome patriotism, that you were sold out by the people who sent you over there, and that there really wasn't too much of a reason for you to be over there. The reason that 9/11 happened wasn't because we were being mean to the Muslims. It was because of our support for Israel. That's why they call us the Great Satan. That's exactly why Osama bin Laden said that he did it. Now, whether or not Osama bin Laden really was behind that, I'm not going to get into. But 9/11 happened because of our support of Israel. We went to war in the Middle East on behalf of Israel. I don't think that you're a bad guy. I don't think that you're a traitor. I think that the people who are traitors are Dick Cheney and George Bush and the people who sent you over for no fucking reason at all.
Okay, so fuck. We need a part 2.
I'm willing to come on. I can stay on however you want. I know if you want to move the show on, that's all right. I'm cool to come on whenever though.
No, when I own it, I created it, I built it. Nobody tells me what to do. So except for her when I'm being passive aggressive. Little humor. You said a lot of things again, and there's too many points for me to address. Once again, some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. But I want to be clear, I was not in Iraq. My service was 1994 till 2000, and I pretty much did all the behind-the-scenes shit from intelligence analysts working with NSWAG and teams. I was in a program that was was a startup organization and one of only 10 ISs who got to kind of kick it off and get involved in it. So my AORs, my experiences, my travel was escalated and elevated at a high clip because it was more of an experimental type MOS and rate that was going to be created in the military. So I had to learn a lot fast. I went through several schools, C schools and Intel, and I'm also somebody who's worked all over the world and with all different types of people. God forbid, the horrible capitalist Satan Apple and Comcast, go figure. So my experience when you say Iraq is that it doesn't mean that we didn't do things in Iraq, and it doesn't mean we didn't send Tomahawks in there or strike packages or write those packages, and it doesn't mean I didn't see shit, and it doesn't mean I have nightmares and I can't sleep some nights. But I'm not disagreeing with you that George Bush and the Bush-Cheney connection, and even with Powell and Schwarzkopf, I could sit here and say that half of those groups of people don't turn into Democrats once they retire unless those feelings were there to begin with. So I'm with you on that.
George Bush already is. He campaigned against Trump, right?
Yeah, I know. But listen.
John McCain, war hawk,
I know. I know the neocon movement very, very well, and I disagree. Like I said, I think you'll find that we agree on more. We're never going to agree on Israel, but that doesn't matter. I don't think that's our common ground. I think our common thread is, you said, patriot, and we just have two very, I don't know, maybe different ways of speaking about it. But I want to address Iran. We never went to war with Iran. Everything we did with Iran was clandestine. Everything we did with Iran was political pressure, sanctions, everything else.
But we bombed the shit out of them, did we not? Right.
Well, how far back do you want to go? So that's my point. How far? And you know what? I think that's necessary, because when we say Saudi Arabia, I do not consider them an ally. I don't consider Saudi Arabia, who is funding Kurds, who is funding Shias and Sunnis to kill each other. who was backdooring with Iran and distracting and making other countries the scapegoats of their own proxies and fundings and pot stirring is acceptable. I'm not a Saud fan, but I do believe that your comment that they're the only ones with oil that matter is not accurate. And Jordan, Qatar, UAE are all countries that can provide an exuberant amount of oil. Iran is a huge player in that market. And when you have your dollar, that national currency attached to the Middle East, it behooves the United States to ensure that the Middle East continues to provide the world oil, considering that our entire economy is based on it. And can you imagine, like, if Apple went bankrupt tomorrow, what would happen to the NASDAQ? What would happen to stocks? I mean, it's ridiculous, right? The same thing holds true for the Middle East. So I believe that the war was fought over oil, and it was fought over money, and it was fought over, especially in the second phase. And 300,000 Iraqis being gassed and murdered in the first Gulf War with Desert Shield and Storm was a convenient way to get our foot in the door in the Middle East. I'm not going to talk about the efficacy and ethics of war, because every basis of any government is war. Every government since the dawn of time, every person, no matter how small, 10 people in a tribe or a multifaceted war machine like Russia or the United States, the basis of those two countries is war. I want to circle back on one other thing about the Jews. When Beardson came on, he came on very similar to you. He wanted to fucking come out swinging. And then we kind of got to a place, and then at the end it sucked because I think he was just using me to get me to talk, and then, pulled the pin out of the grenade. But he thinks that I'm simping for Israel. I want to talk about the bracelet thing. I love you. Good night. Have a good night's sleep, sweetheart. Good night. Olivia can tell you why, and then I'll give you my reasons why. So do you want to talk about the bracelets real quick?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, will you let me talk?
Oh my gosh.
I'm just curious.
You think I'm passive aggressive, dude? Seriously, you got no idea,
Dude,
man.
He asked me a question and then he interrupts me and says, "Fuck this bitch." I'm wondering, are you going to let me fucking talk? Dude, seriously. Did you watch the show from last week and how I schooled your boy last week?
Oh boy.
Please don't piss me off, dude. Don't piss me off. Seriously, I've been quiet the whole time, listening to you, not saying a damn word. But yeah,
she's talking to me.
Interrupt me. Yeah, I'm fucking talking to you.
She's not talking
to me, dude. When did I interrupt you?
Oh, when you said "fuck this bitch," that's when you interrupted me. You asked me a fucking question.
You did say that,
and I was answering you because I asked you who do you think is passive aggressive? Because you were talking about that, and I said, "Who is passive aggressive?" And you said,
"Yeah." You asked me that question like 8 times. I was just like, "Fuck it," it's not worth it. I just thought it wasn't worth it as content. But okay, you continue. Tell me about the bracelets. I got bored. I'm sorry. I have ADHD. You asked me the same question 8 times in a row.
I just want to fucking be honest here, and then just let off all airs. I kind of fucking like him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm nice. I'm cool.
No, you're not. Totally. You're not cool. Your little group of cronies are a bunch of douchebags, but
so nice.
You're not a bad guy, dude. All right, go ahead, Liv. Ask the question.
Okay, my question still stands. Are you gonna let me talk?
Oh my gosh, Olivia, come on, honey, baby, please, just give it to him. Just tell him why.
He's interrupted me 3 times, so I'm just making sure.
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay.
He's ready. I still haven't gotten to apologize for saying it was my speaker
failure. You interrupted. Yell at him now.
I know I did. She yells at me all the time. Yeah. Why do you think I'm passive aggressive? Go ahead, hon. Sorry.
All right. So a friend of our daughter at school is making these I Stand With Israel bracelets. And I adore her. And so I support her. Now, people have drawn some stuff on her locker and her desks at school that are completely inappropriate. And it is not cool of what is going on. And no one should have to go through that. No one, especially a 13-year-old girl. And my daughter shouldn't have to see it at school. And neither should my son. So this whole thing is, it's sad. that people are taking it to the extreme that they're actually blaming people over here. Americans have nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. They live here. They were born here. Just because of their heritage, it's wrong. So I stand with Israel, and I stand with my daughter's friend, and I don't care what you think about that.
Well, I don't think he has a chance to tell you what he thinks of it, so maybe we should let him tell us.
He's been talking the whole time.
I know. I want to hear what he has to say about it. But first, can I ask one question, Alexander?
Yeah.
Do you think sexism is okay?
Yeah.
Do you believe? Yeah. You think that's okay?
I
think it's
when
real,
he was willing to
right?
say that.
It is real.
I think it should be done tastefully.
I do too. And I do. And if you watch my show, I make sexist tropes all the time. But you know what's the difference? I don't believe it. Right. I don't believe. Now, I'm not that idiot who thinks that men aren't better at some things than women, because that's simply not true. And I also know that there are things that women do that are a hell of a lot better, because I don't want to push a bowling ball through my penis, and neither do you. And it's not the only thing that they can do successfully. But I think it's okay to be sarcastic. But do you believe that we should be able to draw lines of separation between the state of Israel, the Hasidic Jews, the rabbis, and the Rothschilds, and the amount of money going into U.S. politics? But you notice I didn't disagree with any of that. And people who are Jews who just want to practice their religion, live their life, and don't deserve to have a swastika painted on their locker.
No, for sure. No, I think I obviously, like, I'm a human. I don't think that, like, the bullying of a 13-year-old girl is good. I don't think that sort of like individual normal level, like, I don't support any sort of like harassment against just like random people who are Jewish. I think that it's sort of an unchristian thing also. Jesus tells us if we're smacked to turn the other cheek, right? And St. Augustine describes this as a disposition, right? So even if somebody were offended by somebody's supporting of Israel, your disposition should be that of love and cordiality, you know, even if they are an antagonist to you, even if you do believe in the evils of the state of Israel. I don't think a 13-year-old girl should be the one to take the heat. Do I think that's a good reason to support Israel? No, I don't. But do I understand why you do? Yes, I do. Why? Because I'm a sexist. And women, right? They're emotional. Love them for that. They're emotional. They see a little girl who's sad, and they support that little girl who's sad. So, you know, it's all right. It is what it is, right?
Yep, I understand. We're only good for cooking pot pies in the kitchen, making babies, being barefoot. I get it.
You said
totally get it.
You said it.
Totally understand. I would love.
What do you got to
talk
diminish the purpose of a mother there? Very anti-woman. I'm not even joking. Why are we doing that?
I'm being passive aggressive. Couldn't you tell?
Dude, okay, hold on. And I'm not going to come to her safety, because she's going to dig her own hole into this, and she's going to have to dig her way out. But you have to admit that you've probably seen some of the behind-the-scenes comments, and I hope you're reading them, in regards to the way people treat her and talk about her. You don't think that that's diminishing as well? Or is it once again, it's okay because it's 3 centimeters between your eyes and your listener's eyes? Because I know why your people are pissed. I get it. I don't like Nick Fuentes. And honestly, you say almost the exact same thing he says. You say it differently. And I don't think you would have a problem saying it in front of black people, white people, Jews, Gentiles, Catholics, Mormons, the NBA, or anyone in between. That's my belief. I think you would say it to anybody. I have followed a few of the things that he has said and watched a few of his shows, and I think he curtails his message and waters it down in some cases. You don't have to agree with that. That's my opinion. I've been accused of taking other people's opinions on that, but no, I came that to my own. And that's what I think. And that's all. I just not a big fan of him. Now, have I listened to him as well as I've listened to you? Have I tried to actually hear his point of views? No, I haven't. So maybe I need to listen more, and maybe I need to stop being so judgmental with him, and I can take that feedback. But we also don't have a human connection. You're sitting in front of me. I certainly wouldn't want to bop you in the nose or punch you in the nose or beat you up. And at no time have I shown hostility to you. But that doesn't mean that I have to go ahead and not say those things when it comes to him, because I don't believe he is someone that I respect, because I've never had those interactions. That's it. And, you know, I'm
it makes sense.
Go ahead.
I think that there's a lot of criticism about that, right? Like, people like to say, like, oh, you know, since he made jokes on the show, therefore, when he comes off much more reasonable in person on somebody else's show, that's lying. There's a lot of joking around.
You don't think so? Wait, you don't think that? You don't think that he comes off more reasonable and amicable on other people's shows versus?
No, I do. But it's just a difference in tone and audience, right? Yeah. I don't think that at any point the core beliefs are altered. But it's being presented in a more genuine and human way, rather than to a bunch of people who already agree with them, right? You know, and there's things that are joked about on the show to his own audience, which probably wouldn't land as good jokes to an audience of, you know, people who just got into politics 2 months ago on some other show, right?
Do you have those same concerns? Because you don't strike me as a person who would be not as authentic as they could possibly be. Call it your ADHD. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that I'm being authentic? Do you think this is the person who I am outside the show, or am I putting up some sort of front?
No, I think it's a good representation of you.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Whether you
but
like
equally, I know everyone's broadcasting. You know, you're worried about perception and that sort of thing.
I'm not.
But yeah. I feel like we're talking like people.
I'm not, brother, because that's why you're on. So, to me, conversation isn't the threat. It's intimidating to people that don't have a conversation, which is the true threat in this country. And that's what's really put us on this path, is people just accept things because it's too hard to talk about. People don't have the stamina to continually be passionate about things that they are almost an insurmountable way to fight or win. I mean, you can talk all day. I can talk all day. Nick can talk all day. Every podcaster in the country can talk all day, but it doesn't necessarily encourage people to do the fighting for themselves. And they don't have the convictions that we used to have. I was going to do a show tonight and didn't get to it, but it was essentially, who are the heroes anymore? You have people that you looked up to when you were growing up. I mean, you mentioned your grandfather with some reverence, and that's important. But are there heroes in this country anymore, or was it all a lie? Because I don't think we have people to look up to. I don't believe we have role models and mentors, and a lot of this generation doesn't have those guide stones. Do you think that that's true? And is it because people are afraid to have the tough conversations, or do you think it's something else?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely an issue with that. I think it's a result of a pretty toxic, evil culture that's been spread by a certain group of people who own the media. We really don't have any like running decent morality or philosophy. Even if we're taking God out of it, we don't follow any coherent philosophy beyond nihilistic hedonism, right? The only thing that matters is, you know, that you're on Tinder getting pussy. The only thing that matters is that you are living your life and receiving dopamine hits in your brain. And actually, nothing even really matters at the end of it, right? Because we're just a cosmic fart. People are awful these days. People are awful. The soul of our country has been robbed from us. And that's why we have school shootings. That's why people are messed up, man. It's a huge, huge issue. We have a mental health crisis in this country.
Yes,
people are dying on these fucking SSRIs that, by the way, they don't kill your depression. They kill your fucking brain, dude.
They kill your it's
horrific.
things. They also kill your testosterone. They kill your testosterone level. They produce estrogen, the cortisol levels that's why people swell up like balloons. It impacts cholesterol. It impacts all of those things. And SSRIs are something that I abstain from. And I've went through my own, mental anguish and traumas and things that I've needed to, and I've stay away from that shit. It's poison. It's all poison. Listen, I'm going to say this. And you know what? And the funny thing is I don't mind being a sap, right? I don't mind being honest and saying, hey, I appreciate this or I appreciate that. And you can either reciprocate or not. I really don't fucking care, because when we turn this thing off, we'll forget about each other until the next time that you decide to grace my presence. But I will say I enjoyed the conversation more than I thought I would. I appreciate you taking a moment and at least understanding that I'm capable of having an amicable conversation with somebody. I think we disagree on a lot, but I'll be honest with you, I'm shocked by how much we agree with. And predominantly when it comes to things not about Israel, right? I think you guys are misjudging how much 9/11 meant to me, and whether Saudi was involved, whether it was the Jews, whether it was our own government, whatever, I don't give a fuck at this point, because all I think about is the people who we did lose. And it wasn't just then. I mean, 21 years in Afghanistan, I lost brothers. I have a guy sitting next to me who lost both of his legs. I've talked guys off the fucking cliff with guns in their mouths, and I've seen guys actually pull the trigger in front of me. So it's a very personal thing for me. And I think cowardice is probably one of the things I hate the most. And I understand Israel and what they've done. I also understand what Hamas has done and even the Palestinians have done. And although I am America first and I care about that, I have a very, very pissed off disposition when it comes to terrorists. And I would ask that if you did go 11 Bravo and you did join and you pushed the ground and you did your rifle training and you did your bivouac and then you were sent over there and you got to see some of that, I think it would change your opinion just a little bit, that there is true evil in this world, and it represents itself in different facets based upon history and based upon perspective. So my perspective is probably different than yours. One is age and one is experience, but it's certainly not a shortfall of yours. I think it allows you to go ahead and open up your mind and see things maybe differently. And I have to be a better person by able to change my neurons and those dopamine levels that I look for and try to find something new. So that's my last word. I'm going to give it to you and let you say whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. No, I appreciated you talking to me, right? We started off very heated, right? But it was good that we were able to talk. I feel like the realest question you asked was whether or not I see you as a traitor. Like the way I see it is at the end of the day, we are literally just two American patriots talking to each other. Okay. The Jew thing is a massive divide in what we think, right? But I don't like, I knew about the Jews. I knew about Zionism. I knew about all of this stuff before I started trying to join the military. And I thought that in spite of the fact that we are fighting wars for the wrong people, by politicians that have nothing but apathy or disdain for the common American man, I would like to participate just to stand side by side with my fellow patriot, right? I don't think anything you did is morally repugnant. I totally respect the suffering that has come down on all these American patriots, and a huge part of what motivates me advocating against Israel is because I think that blood lies at their feet. I think that through the manipulation, corruption that they have inspired in our country, that is the reason that we're in these wars. That is the reason that all of this has happened, man. All that blood, all that treasure, where we are right now as a country, the stranglehold that they still have over us in the media and in government, and in the banking system. It's brutal. I would hope that you ponder this, maybe look into the AI pack and the Apollo affair. But
real quick, I don't want to interrupt. Every show, I catalog and then I go ahead and ensure that it's subtitled, and then I go back and search and I study everything that people say because I want to know more. And I feel we scratched the surface here. There's a lot that I didn't get into because just for the sake, I wanted to have a human conversation with you that we could probably extend later and get more into this. So I apologize for interrupting you there. Go ahead.
No, it's perfectly fine. Final word is, I hope you can see that we're reasonable. I don't just hate Jews because I was taught to. You know, believe it or not, 10 years ago I was an atheist libertarian, right? I have come to this based off of a horrific realization after horrific realization. I would, if I could choose to be any different political view, I would definitely not choose this, but I believe it's true, and it's the unfortunate reality of the world that we're in right now. I'd ask you to tune into Nick and give him a shot, right?
I'll listen. It's not like I'm ignorant and don't listen to what he's done. In fact, I find him to be extremely fucking affable at times and honest and direct. And it's not, listen, sometimes you can get further. And I know you're all about don't being passive aggressive and being direct, but there are times where if you truly want to make change, I had to learn you can't do it with a baseball bat. Sometimes you got to build a rapport with people. You're never going to change anyone if they don't like you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the absolute truth. And I'm just saying that's all. So let me just do one more thing. And then I want Olivia to say her thing. And she's probably going to ask if you're going to interrupt her again. When I said things were said, it's not somebody saying my wife is a jizz mopper in the theater or she's doing some guy at work. That's whatever. It's just guys being guys. It's the internet being the internet. But when someone goes ahead and encroaches upon having sex with my 13-year-old daughter and having verbal talking about anal sex with my daughter, and I was challenged to put up the emails and challenged to put up and I did. When people are talking about killing my family members, that shit you guys might want to consider. There's some people out there who are fuck around and find out. And I'm one of those guys. I can only take so much of that before I will consider somebody a threat. And then I will put my skill set to work to ensure that my family is safe. And this job that I have here is not the first time that people have to be confronted in real life, whether it be by FBI or police or anything else, because some of the things that have been said. So I would ask this. If people can try, you want to talk some shit, you want to call me an asshole, you want to call me whatever, fucking traitor, you want to call me a Jew lover, I don't care. But those type of things, family's off limits. And I'm not asking you because you've been nothing but respectful, except for the bitch comment, but I'm going to let that slide because it was in jest. But everybody else, just chill the fuck out. If people disagree with you or you're not going to get to them by pissing in their fucking Wheaties. So even though it's all about being as honest as you can, well, that doesn't always work. So Olivia, did you want to chime in and say anything to Alexander on a last word?
I don't know.
Come on, you like him a little bit.
No,
I think
really.
that's wrong, by the way. I don't think that's cool. People go a bit crazy on the internet. You know, they get desensitized. I'm sorry. I thought you were pausing. You take long pauses.
No, I don't like him. Not at all.
All right.
There's
so
not one
is
ounce
there
of me that
any
does.
chance that you two can listen? Out of all the gin joints, of all the things that I thought in this conversation, the fact that you two didn't get along, that shocks
I was on her side coming in.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, he was. He thinks that can we just say you think I'm passive aggressive? What do you mean? I treat my wife like shit. That's what you mean by that, or what is it?
No. I just like the man's the captain of the boat, right? You know, so if the crew is fucking up, right? You don't come up to them and go like, "Oh wow, I thought I asked you to swab that deck 2 hours ago, but here you are not swabbing the deck, and the deck looks like shit. Isn't that crazy? You know, you're the captain. You gotta be like. You got to be like, hey, why the fuck is this deck looking like shit? You're the captain, right? You got to be the man.
I have a question for you.
So
I got a question for you.
right?
dude, you're so fucking Bill Burr at times. I just want to punch you in the face.
I got
just
a
love it.
question.
So
Are you married or do you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Because
I
I
got a
don't know. You got a girlfriend. Do you talk to her like that?
Do you really?
I'm just curious. I'm asking genuinely.
When I need to. I'm a sweetheart.
If she sweeps and mops the floor, but it's not up to your standards, do you actually say that to her? Because I feel for her.
Alexander, I think it's your persona to be like that. I don't think you're really like that. And just like I'm not passive aggressive, I have no problem with being direct with my family. But you understand that some things are part of the show, right? The banter between Olivia and I is something that we do all the time. And it is designed. Dude, if you only knew, she's got no problems telling me, and I got no problems telling her.
We've been together for 25 years, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alexander.
No, you got to lay down the law sometimes. You got to lay down the law. You got to tell her, you got to, listen, I don't care about the floor being mopped if I'm being real. But yeah, you got to have a firm hand at times, right? Women aren't supposed to be in submission. And, that's how it is. God said,
Dude,
listen, I'd
your
love to be a
girlfriend.
slave to my girl, but God told me I'm not allowed. What can I say? I got to be in charge. That sucks.
So when you write your vow, you're going to get married. You're a Catholic, right? So you're going to get married.
Yeah.
You have to. And you better. Shit, you're in deep shit if you don't. So you're going to get married, and then you're going to have your vows. Are you going to put obey in there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's in the ritual. That's in the marriage too, right?
Yeah.
That's ritual after that.
God, dude, I want you to do me a favor. You got to call me back. If you don't call me back sometime soon, but in 10 years when you're married, you got to call me back, and I want to see how much you've changed. You're just going to be like,
think I'm going to be a big gay pussy? Is that what you say? You think I'm going to get married?
You think he's a big gay pussy because we're married?
The truth came out. It wasn't passive. I'm a big gay pussy.
Oh, wow.
No.
You want to know why we're
still
still married? It's because he's not a fucking asshole. That's why.
Oh, I can be an asshole.
Yeah, but you can't. But you're not that big of an asshole.
I can be a pretty big asshole.
You a big gay pussy. I was just saying.
I know you weren't. I was
like,
teasing.
what am I going to be like? Oh, brother, if I don't do these dishes, my wife's not going to give me head. Oh, fuck me.
First of all, I can listen. We're just going to be transparent. I don't know. You might embrace this. I can flip my wife on like a switch, so the dishes don't fucking matter. So that's not the problem. The problem is her ability to plant little seeds in your brain that grow, and they fucking nag and they itch, and you go, what? That was stupid. And then fucking like 5 hours later, you're like, oh man, I can't believe she fucking said that. She's really good at that. She hits that way. But anyway, listen, I appreciate your perspective and giving us marriage advice. Trust me when I say this, I've heard it all before in one way or another.
You know what? It's kind of like you giving us marriage advice. You're 25. We've been together since the year you were born.
Yeah.
So you giving us marriage advice when you're not married is kind of like people who don't have kids giving parents advice on how to raise their children. I don't listen
I think
to
you'd
those
agree
people.
with me more if you weren't here. That's what I think. I think what we're witnessing is the erosion of a man, right? The waves are washing against him, and soon after
no.
20 years, he'll never be able to say no to you. His soul will be stolen from him. He'll just, yes,
Do you
dear.
actually
Yes,
think that would
dear.
happen
Yes,
if you're
dear.
actually... Oh,
I'm going to be listen. Okay, so let's
Wow.
have that conversation. That's important. This is good. 20 years ago, would I tolerate some of the shit that I tolerate now? No way.
See?
No. But there's another side of that, and it's not a bad thing. And I'm just going to tell you this because one day you're going to get here, and you're so kind with your advice. I'm going to give you some. And I'm not being condescending. Dude, I want you to be fucking happy. I got to look at you, dude. I don't want to see your halo light. I'm giving you feedback. I need to look you in the eye here. We
Sorry, I was plugging in my little nicotine.
I know you need your vape. I quit that shit.
Yep.
You should quit it too. You shouldn't allow things to control you. Fuck those things. You're too smart. I know that. Well, I wanted it too. Here I am drinking coffee at fucking 10 o'clock. All right, so hold on. I'm going to give you a little secret. Is that when you get together and you get married, it's tough, right? It's hard. You get through that first year and you know, you should live with people before you marry. I know that's, you know, a little bit of a sin, but you should get to know them. But there will come a time that you'll love them and you'll figure it out. You'll get your shorthand. The book, balance in the book doesn't matter anymore. You get an offender bender. You don't flip the fuck out. You find a way to kind of be amicable with each other. And then you have kids. It changes everything. And that woman who you love and you changed for and put away some of those, you know, manly fucking qualities of being the alpha and all that for her. She goes and loves her kids, and the love for you is not the same. And it changes. And the kids become the focus, and you become selfish, maybe a little jealous. And you may think that may happen, may not happen. We'll see when you get there. It's really important to know that you have to love through your kids, and you have to love them unequivocally like she does in order for her to kind of feel that connection with you again and rebuild that. And that is the dangerous part where a lot of families don't get through it and a lot of parents don't get through it. And you may think I'm full of shit, but I'm just telling you, when you get there, you probably will understand this. I had to change my expectations of myself, and I had to change some qualities of myself in order to do what's best for my family and my kids. And I will tell you, I love my wife more than I ever have, and I love my family. But sometimes maybe passive aggressive is okay, so I don't wind up in a wicked fucking fight that lasts for 3 days. Sometimes maybe I don't say exactly what I need to, and I will openly admit that. Is that fair?
Yeah, I got you. No, I'm sure. I'm sure having kids is a big effect. I'm going to try to remain based in alpha. You know, you don't want your wife cheating on you, right? Because she thinks you're a big gay pussy or something.
But that's interesting.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I say
sure.
something? Right?
Yeah.
Your wife isn't going to cheat on you because he's a big pussy, right? If he is a softie and he loves you and he treats you with respect and kindness and he loves your kids, and you come home from work one day and the house is clean and the dishes are done and dinner's cooked, holy shit. Yeah, it's those things that make you fall in love with him again.
Fuck that.
But
I don't do any of that shit. Just
the lasagna you made for dinner.
Yeah. I make a good lasagna.
It was awesome. I took it to work the next day for lunch. But I can tell you that if he was the way you're saying a husband should be and rule with an iron fist and blah, 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 and all this that you're saying, we would not be together right now. I'm sorry, but no woman will take that shit. No woman will.
Not an iron fist. I'm not like 1920s. All right. I'm like 1960s. All right. I don't think that you should beat the shit out of your wife because she dropped a fucking tuna can.
So,
what?
So,
Peace, love, and dope from the 60s,
wrong
right?
60s.
No,
wrong
like
60s.
early 60s.
That's the 70s. He's not a fucking hippie. Listen, people are like, why is she seething? You went after her daughter, not you, Alexander. At least I hope it wasn't you. You're not the Groykowski fucking douchebag and
Groykowski? No, I'm not.
That fucking guy's a stalker, dude. Jesus, man, that guy needs to realize he's gay.
My family is off limits. You go after my children.
You just
nope.
I think that's gay. I think that sucks.
It is gay, especially when you fucking follow me on 5 different sites and you're like, I'm in your fucking head. It's like, dude, bro, you're the one that keeps fucking coming back and making different accounts. It just, all right. Here's the thing. Appreciate the conversation. Welcome here anytime. And it's not the first time that I've had a conversation with the Groyper crew and it actually went well. It just always seems to come back to fucking Jews every time, dude. I mean, I would rather just have a conversation with you. And if there's something that's specific to Israel, fine, we can talk about that. But it's not the biggest concern in my life. There's a lot of other things that I'm worried about. And so are you, because you mentioned a lot of things that have nothing to do with Jews, even though you think they're the root of all evil for most of the problems that we have.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I think I backpedaled that
You'd
statement.
think they wouldn't have anything to do with Jews.
Well, okay. So everything. I don't know, man. You know what? I'm going to do my research. I'll read what you recommended. Maybe you can send me a few things and I will read it. And that's it. I will disagree with you that the Israelis bombed that hospital. And you and I can sit down and talk about that. That was my that was my job. You either watched the video from start to finish and truly looked at what I said, or you didn't. And it doesn't really matter. But I'm telling you, I would be absolutely fucking shocked if that wasn't a Hamas rocket. Just
all right. You're like a Fed, right? Do you really think Mossad had no clue that shit was happening?
I think they absolutely had a clue. And don't call me a Fed. Those days are over. That's a 4-letter word in my vocabulary. Yeah, I was a Fed, and there's no doubt. And I worked for the federal government. I was trained by the federal government. But if you think that I'm spoon-fed by the federal government, it's not the case. I've had people actually say I'm FBI, and I just not everything can be a conspiracy. The government isn't that fucking good at things, okay? They're really bad at a lot of things. But do I believe that Mossad knew? Two things. I think Mossad and Amman and the private security force that will go unnamed, that's contractor group for intel that I won't mention their name, got comfortable. I think they had 3 peace treaties, the Abraham Accord. Donald Trump created a lot of that. Good for him, because he's the only president to ever do it. And Saudi Arabia would have been the 4th, actually the 5th. And we're moving towards conversations that were probably some of the furthest we've ever had in the Middle East. And I think they got comfortable and they got complacent. I also think that they absolutely knew that something was coming. As far as specificity, I can't answer that question. And that's the one thing I don't do on my show, is speculate to that level. But it would be very hard for me to believe that the United States, that Polish intelligence, that MI6 didn't know that they were planning something big, because that how the fuck, if you don't know those things, how do you literally have map coordinates to every single Hamas group? How do you have the ability to go ahead and scan certain cells and frequencies 3 weeks posthumous from an event that's already confusing and already a fog of war, which means that those assets were in place? So I'm not a stupid human being. I'm not saying that, governments are virtuous, but yeah, I absolutely believe that Israel had some level of understanding of what was going to take place. Maybe not the magnitude. Was that a fair?
Get out?
Was that a? What's that?
No, that was super fair. When did you get out? You said 94 to when?
94 to 2000, 1999 to be more specific. But then I did civilian contracting work with the government for about 1.5 years.
Did you hear about the FBI arresting a couple of Mossad agents after on 9/11?
No, not to the level of I can speak on it. Have I heard anything like that? I don't know.
No, I mean just in general. I'm not asking for inside baseball here.
I don't think. No, I don't want you leaving work. No. Listen, no. Please understand. I take my clearance very seriously. I take the things I knew and didn't know very seriously. I have heard rumblings of all sorts of things, but to speak on that with an educated stance, I can't. And did I hear it directly? No. And did I hear rumblings of it? No. Not anything like that. But
add that to your research list.
No, but see, here's the thing. You understand that a lot of the things. Okay, I got to get this out. Then we got to go because it's a long fucking.
All right, I got you.
Just give me this last piece.
Yep.
You understand that disinformation runs both ways, right? You're a smart enough guy to know that the side that you listen to also connects the dots and creates sinew when there is no sinew, and that there is disinformation, and it's not altruistic coming from your side. It's not side. That's bullshit. I don't want to say that. But there is definitely an establishment amount of intelligence, and then there is de-establishment and the people who are anti-government, who push a lot of these conspiracy theories with no basis whatsoever. You understand that, right? That some of this shit that you guys think is just fucking pipe dream, and some of it might be based. You agree with that or no?
Yeah. There's a lot of disinformation. People, once they, a lot of people get in the habit of drawing lines and then end up drawing lines when it's not necessary. I try to call it out. But there were Mossad agents who got arrested.
Wait. My stalker's not.
Your stalker is on YouTube right now, and he's real pissed.
Oh, is that Gropowski?
Yeah.
Fuck him. He's a twat.
He's asking us to show proof what he said about our child.
Oh, Gropowski, I've already done that. That was on the last show, bro. You don't get me twice. You've already been put to bed, dude. Remember when Beardson? You don't even watch your guys' shows. You know what? I'm in such a good mood right now. I'm not even going to address. I'm going to let him keep spinning his fucking wheels. That's my point. Is that there's some things that I think are disinformation happens. The Snake Island, the fucking ghost of Kiev in Ukraine, a pilot when they don't even have an air force. You've heard all these stories. A lot of this is why I don't reflect on a lot of this stuff in the first 24 hours. I let it sit, I let it wait, I get a couple sources, and I check it. But you also remember in that show, the first thing I started out saying was, Israel has ignored intelligence before. Israel has played naive before. They've played simps before. So has every country. But it's not. This wouldn't be the first time that Israel ignores intel. That's what I will tell you, and I understand that. But once again, what happened, in my opinion, was pure fucking cowardice. They're not freedom fighters. Hamas are not the good guys. They're not humanitarians. And even though they might be going against somebody who you find to be evil, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the good guys. And I think you at least agree with that. Is that fair?
Yeah, I don't think they're the good guys. I think that they are freedom fighters in the same way that the Taliban is freedom fighters. But I think they have they've been pushed and destroyed to the point where the only thing that they feel that they can do is inflict terrorist attacks on civilians. I think that's how it is. I think this is a huge fucking conversation. But the Palestinian people were there. The Palestinian people did get expelled from their own land that they had been living in for an unbroken 1,000 years.
Yeah. Wait a second. Come on, dude. Not 1,000 years. The Ottoman Empire sold it to the Israelis in 1836. You know this. A lot of Arabs say they did.
They didn't. The Rothschilds bought it from the UK after World War I.
Let's do this, okay? Now
It
I know
was small settling, but it was considered illegal in the Ottoman Empire.
1110.
It's the Dreyfus affairs, or the fuck, dude. There's a guy in chat who's gonna be so mad I forgot this name.
It doesn't matter because you don't listen to me. It's 11:10 at night. Can you do me a favor without this looking like a dodge? This conversation right here is going to take us a lot longer than what we've got. And I would love to have this conversation at another time. Are you willing to have it? Because I would love to go ahead and compare notes between Palestine being an actual state and Syria, Palestina not being a name, because the Palestinian people are full of nomads, are full of gypsies, of Turks, of Moroccans. We can go ahead and do this. There is no Palestine. I will argue this point with you, and then you can argue with me why there is no Israel, and then we can have a great dialogue. And I fucking want that conversation more than anything in the next 5 minutes.
Sorry, the Balfour Declaration. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking about. Anyway, yeah, we can totally have this conversation another time, because I it's a huge fucking conversation.
It's a big we got to go through 3,000 years of history in a show, and I'm completely willing to have it with you. And I'm going to come with my ears on. I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen to your points.
I don't even think they have the best claim, but I think the Jews have like no claim. Anyway, sorry.
Well,
yeah, we can come.
You and I are just going to disagree on that, and that's okay. But maybe, like this conversation, we might find some accord where I might change a few things in you that ultimately your opinion doesn't change, and my opinion doesn't change. But at least we might say, oh, well, you know what? I didn't fucking know that. All I ask is we handle it like we have here. If we don't know something, we say, hey, I'll look into it, and I will. There's things that I just won't talk about because I don't know. And as long as you and I come from that place, I think we'll have a good conversation. All right.
Yeah, sure thing. That sounds good.
Can I call you Alex now?
Sure you can, friend.
Fucking A. You can call me Matt, dude. And you can
Let's
call my
go.
wife Liv.
No.
No.
She thought I liked me. She'll come around.
She'll come around someday. All right,
Probably
man.
Not if you continue to be the sexist dick that you are. I won't.
Sexism is right.
Fucking
It's
chance.
just correct. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, as much as I would love to continue this conversation, I have a bowl of frozen yogurt in the freezer that's so much more entertaining.
You're
and
in
I'm
trouble.
going to enjoy so much more than talking to you. Plus, I would really like to go play some Diablo.
Okay, we'll go play Diablo. That satanic
So-
game
As
that's
much as
corrupting
you're
our
wait,
souls.
against
and watch some
sexism, you said like
Lucifer.
12
I
words
wanna
this
watch some
entire
Lucifer.
discussion. Women's silent. Am I right, brother Matt? Let's go.
Dude.
Women's silent.
Keep those bitches' mouths shut. Am I right?
Dude, no, man, no. You see, people think
love the fact that you're laughing.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because he reminds me of Bill Burr so much, and I fucking love Bill Burr like more than anything in the world. And he's kind of got that ginger thing going on, but not quite. I love it, dude. I love Bill
ginger.
Burr. No, but I know you're not. I said the same thing to Beardson, and he was like, I'm not a fucking ginger, dude. I'll say this, okay? Olivia chimes in when Olivia feels she needs to chime in, and people think that I curtail and tell her don't chime in. A lot of these topics she doesn't know, and when she does come into things, I think there's some very useful points. No, I don't think my wife should shut up. I think it's fucking hilarious that she hates you and I don't, and I'm gonna have to pay. I'm gonna have to pay for that.
No, not because again, as soon as we end the call, I'll never think of him again. So it's
Yeah.
Out of my
She
head.
chooses not to talk on the show. Am I right?
yeah. I would say 90% of the topics on the show are stuff that I don't know anything about. Like 2 nights ago, I know nothing about that. What the fuck are you doing in your camera?
He's vaping.
No, he's like looking in the camera and showing his eye, and he's like, I don't know what he's doing.
Just
I
playing.
was trying to wink, dude. It's harder than you think.
All right.
But that was on
Got it.
delay.
You two, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to separate you two. Listen, thanks for the conversation. I appreciate it. Thanks for at least being amicable to your followers. Attitude reflects leadership, but whatever, they are who they are.
They all sucked, but that's okay.
Okay, we're gonna go. Alexander,
I watched
Thanks
all
for
the
having me,
chat,
friend.
and they
hey,
were all
Alexander,
mean.
thank you sincerely. We may disagree on some things, but there's enough there. There's some sinew there we can build on. Call back in anytime. Seriously.
All right. Very cool. See you, friend.
Have a good one. Bye. Listen, you got to play nice. You got to understand a lot of this. See, I'm going to explain.
I was okay until he said, fuck that bitch. Then, nope, gloves are fucking off. I don't care what he says after that.
Listen,
and he continues to rant with this whole sexism thing. Sorry, I'm
Do you
not
know
cool with
why
that.
he's doing that? Do you know why he's doing that? Come on.
To
Come on. Do you know why he's doing it?
play into his viewers or whatever.
He knows it bothers you. So if you like let these guys, this is the internet, man. That's why being a gamer and growing up in this thing, when internet came around and started playing in games and listening to the chat rooms, this is just shit talk. Being a sports guy, a military guy, like Groypowski, I don't give a fuck what he said. And he didn't say he's going to rape my daughter. I didn't say him. He was talking shit about you. He was talking, I got it right here. And Olivia's thinking about what her life would be like if I decide to save her. Turning off replies to your last message. What a bitch move. It's telling that I'm here talking about impregnating your wife because she hates you, and you're over here talking about gay shit with a lisp. This guy's been on my dick for like weeks, literally rent free in your head. And Livia's thinking about what her life would be like if I already read that one. I don't even, your lisp and speak to your wife like a bitch. She's already cheating on you. Baby girl, slide in my DMs, ditch his passive aggressive, effeminate husband of yours who can clearly already despise. I'll go deep and give you a male child and slap you around. Maybe it is.
I think
Maybe it is, Alexander.
I think it is.
Listen, but that shit, it's just, you're an idiot, right? I don't care. It doesn't fucking bother me because in the end, I get to go to bed with you every night. And I would much rather have him dreaming about you while you're in my bed and following me around and pretending that I'm something important to him. It means I'm in his fucking head. The guy can't stop. He's flipping out on YouTube that I won't engage with him. I love it.
He is.
Dude, totally who's in whose head? All I got to do is say your name and you fucking melt down, bro.
Exactly. And just know that if you were the last man on earth and I was the last woman on earth and it came down to us to repopulate, or the human race would go extinct.
Duracell batteries?
Nope. I would fucking die before I let you touch me or I touch you.
I'm not going to let.
Not a fucking chance. I would let us go extinct before that ever happened.
Okay.
So
it's not going to happen. There's no hypothetical in this situation that's possible. I'm just going to say that even Groypowski, I don't care. This is stupid stuff. But you got blocked because you have not demonstrated that you have any desire to have a conversation. And Beardson did that. And then when he didn't, we had a conversation. Alexander came in here and he started fucking lipping off. I didn't mute him. You guys said I did. Obviously I didn't. Nobody can admit that it was his system, not me. That's fine. Who cares? And I had a conversation with him for 2.5 hours. I'm not afraid of talking to people. I'm not afraid of losing a debate. This wasn't a debate. There was no debate here. This was simply two guys sharing an opinion. And I listened to some of his views and surprisingly enough, we agree on some stuff. My job isn't to sit here and try to make him look bad or him to try to make me look bad. It's to have a conversation. He wanted to have one. We had one. If you want to come in here, Groypowski, then send me an email and say, hey, unblock me. I was being a dick, and I'll go ahead and I'll bring you in. Otherwise, you're not a fucking man. You got to be a man. When Alexander was wrong, he kind of passive aggressively apologized, even though he hates that. But at least he said the words. You got to apologize, dude. You're being a cock. And it's not my fault you're a cock. It's your fault. It's nothing to do with me. I don't even know who you are. I don't even know what you look like. Or stay in your basement and play your fucking Nintendo and drink your Mountain Dew and jerk off to the JCPenney catalog. Whatever you want to do in life. Or show a little bit of respect and come on the show and tell me why I'm wrong. That's it. No, we're good now. I was pissed. You were implying. Oh, I did not imply that. You didn't say that. But you know what? Someone with your name, Groypowski2, did ask about my daughter and said, is she of age? Has she bled yet? So someone's using your name. And if you're telling me you didn't say that, then that's fine. And I've got no problem backing up what I say. And I have no reason to make it up. But for you guys who are dropping N-bombs in here and fucking saying some of the shit you're saying about the gas chamber, and you guys got to fucking calm down a little bit. You pretend that you don't hate Jews, but some of you really fucking hate them. And I'm telling you, man, that shit will burn you up. I'm not one to talk. There's people I hate, and I'm trying to learn how to be a better person too. But you guys, some of you need to stop. Groypowski was framed. I seriously doubt that. Or someone did. But it's funny because Groypowski 2 came on Rumble and said the exact same shit that he did. So, you know what? Fine. You apologized? Wait, did he apologize? What did he say? Let me read it.
Nope,
no, we're good now.
I didn't say that is what he said. I don't understand.
You were implying I said something about your daughter and I would never do that, but your wife is fair game. She's online. That's not an apology, is it?
No.
So you didn't say, is my daughter of age? You didn't say, has she bled yet? You didn't say that. You're going to tell me you didn't say that? Johnny, that's a good point. He says, you can't expect to be online and not take heat. Too sensitive by far.
That's
too
fine.
Sensitive.
I'm not sensitive. You're going to give me shit. I'm going to give you shit right back.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not too sensitive
I'm sorry.
at all.
Talking about fucking my kid. No, that's not too sensitive. If you're in front of me, I'm going to put your fucking lights out. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how tough you think you are. It's just the way it's going to be. You don't fuck with people's family, dude. No, it's not good. It's not good. You may be cool in your little gamer world.
So he's Groypowski 2 as well.
Groypowski 2 is me. I never said anything about your daughter. Well, I'll be happy to go ahead and share screenshots, but I can't share screenshots. I will get fucking banned on Facebook for sharing some of that language. If you want, you can email me at owner@don'tunfriendme and I will email you, but I'm not putting some of those things up. That's why I haven't. I read them verbally and I'm not doing it. It's not going to happen. And you can, whether you believe me or not means nothing to me because I've been completely honest up until then. Show it's a different username. I'm just telling you what I said, dude. I have nothing else to say about it. I've just completely told you. You told me you didn't say anything negative. I just showed you did. And now you're saying you didn't. And I believe you, But now you're getting all fucking show me, prove me, evidence. Fact check that. Dude, my credibility and my word, I stand by it. Because I've already went ahead and I've addressed you. I'm honestly talking to you a hell of a lot better than you've ever spoken to me, dude. Beardson showed pictures of daughter. Wait a second. How come you guys are always innocent? I know you guys stick together. Have you guys ever been wrong in your life? That's what I want to know. You're in my chat. Have you guys ever been wrong about anything? It's so amazing how you guys jerk each other off. Someone could walk in here and be like, fucking turtle wax and breadcrumbs. And you're like, yeah, dude, fuck yeah, turtle wax and breadcrumbs. Absolutely, dude. That's so based. That's so fucking anti-Jew.
Unicorns and mermaid bubbles.
Unicorns and mermaid bubbles. Franks and beans.
Franks and beans.
I mean, that's what you guys do. It doesn't matter what you say. Oh, Beardson won. Beardson didn't win anything. Beardson had some comments that were really good, and then he had some comments that were really fucking stupid. I would say Alexander did better than Beardson. At least Beardson. He did a lot better than him. At least he has some
I just
understanding
like Beardson
of
more than Alexander.
What?
I just like Beardson a lot more than Alexander. I at least
Alexander's
was somewhat
just
respectful to Alexander.
Alexander's just fucking with you.
Beardson, no.
He's just fucking with you. All right. Listen, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a groiper. I don't care if you're a dummy. I don't even care if you're a stoolie from Barstool Sports. I do appreciate you stopping by. I don't appreciate all the comments. I don't. Not all of them. But you know what? It's the internet, and that's the way people are. But you would be surprised. You guys say everyone does it, but this channel doesn't. And you might be like, well, that's because there's only like 150 people in here.
You're not seeing Facebook, are you?
What?
They keep saying, oh, there's 44 people on this channel. Well, they're on YouTube.
They don't know. YouTube, I've been fucking canceled 3 times from YouTube. We've tried. Every time. It doesn't matter. And honestly, I'm not the guy that does the conspiracy shit. They hit me. You can't grow on Rumble anymore because Bongino, fucking Charlie Kirk, Russell Brand, there's just a few people, and they want those people to continue to grow. That's their advertising niche, and they don't want to allow anyone else into the fucking pie. And you got to just break that ceiling. It's hard. And we've worked our asses off to get as much as we do have on Rumble. I mean, shit, just to get 500-600 views of video like we're getting now, took me forever. Facebook does well, but Facebook isn't off the charts either. Folks, we're just drinking milk here. We're drinking milk. We're trying. We're trying to grow. Damn it. All right. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Say groipers are nice. No, I will not. No, I won't, because you guys aren't nice.
Anyone on this conversation on YouTube was not nice tonight.
Not
everyone.
Listen, like Bushy.
I
think Bushy's okay.
There was quite a few.
How was Bushy?
There was so many comments spammed that I had a hard time keeping up with a lot of them. It was just constant. I couldn't read them all, but there were definitely a few that were cool.
Here's the thing. Some people like Alexander. I'm telling you, he was just fucking with you. Mm-hmm. He knew it got in your head, and he was pushing your buttons, and that's why I was laughing. And honestly, if he just knew how we were, like if he saw before the show, or he would know that you and I have no problem telling each other exactly how we feel. I think you are a nice, dumb show, guys, and we like you. Now we are friends. All right.
Cool.
Bushy says, you got to have a bunch of fake accounts and spam Steven Crowder's comment section telling people to check you out.
We won't do that. We don't let people do it on our show. Why would we do it to somebody else's show?
See, that's the thing. We know how to grow. I know how to grow. It's just, guys, if you think it was an accident that we got to 250,000 people on Facebook in less than 3 years, that's hard to do. It's marketing. It's understanding the algorithm. It's understanding the audience. It's nothing super special. It is what it is. We're a small channel. We take pride in the video we provide. We take pride in the audio. We try to show up and have good conversations. Sometimes it's like tonight where it's intense and it's all over the place. Other times it's just laid back and it's just us talking about recipes and shit and stupid movies.
And hockey.
But I know what I could do. I could start saying stuff that I know exactly what to do. And I've seen guys on Twitter do it. There's a bunch of guys who are talking shit about
You're not going to pander just to get viewers.
I'm not going to pander to people. I just won't do it. and you guys are sitting here saying that you don't want people to do that. You don't want people to pander and change who they are.
And that's why you've got so many loyal fans, is because you don't.
Yeah.
And you always keep it real and you always tell the truth. And
yeah,
some people like that. If you want to go see someone that panders to you and tells you everything you want to hear, well,
no. See,
go watch somebody else.
This is great. I don't want. This is the conversation that I like. Right. I don't like the stupid bullshit. But Johnny's asking. He's like so crabby. I think he's talking to you. And he goes, treading on eggshells means he's talking to me, bro. Okay, I'm gonna say it. Just be straight. Okay. My wife is not a fucking debater. She doesn't do that.
No.
My wife is a loving, caring protector, nurturer, and honestly, one of the best friends I've ever had, who has talked me off of cliffs of putting a gun in my mouth. Okay. She has my loyalty. She has my fealty. She has my respect, and I am her protector. And she also protects the side of me that I don't want to be out there, and I don't want to be vulnerable. But she's not a debater, and she's not going to be someone who's going to be able to talk about, circa 1326 or talk about the Montgolfier brothers or whatever. But there is a perspective there that is caring, nurturing, honest, and honestly based from a woman's perspective who has been in the corporate world, who's been at the House, but also has political opinions and also has opinion on what women are and what they're not and all that other stuff, but maybe not so much as geopolitics, because let's face it, I love it because it's something that I did and I study and I care about it. And it's unfair to assume that she's going to be able to trade barbs with Beardson or Alexander or Nick or anyone else, because that's not her forte. But I'll tell you what, you want to hear a classical piece on a fucking piano that'll blow your socks off. If you want to have somebody who can listen intently and have conversations with you and challenge you to be a better person, she's the one. And if that makes me an effeminate male, fucking so be it. I don't care.
Now, if you want to talk hockey, I'll debate you all freaking night long. But
and it's amazing. People only talk shit over line.
People
don't do it in purpose. They don't do it in person, do they?
No, they do not.
No, they don't.
No, they do not.
No, we're not burning bridges. Listen, here's the funny thing, and then we're done. And my listeners always tell me, like, dude, you always fucking 10 minutes. And then an hour later, he's not burning bridges. I don't care if somebody challenges me. I don't care if somebody doesn't like me. I don't care if they don't like my wife. I don't care if I
can take care of myself.
It doesn't bother me. It's like everybody's got opinions, man, and people don't listen. If you've noticed two things about me, whether it's Beardson or whether it's Alexander or whether it's the Luke, William, Stephen, what was the other guy on YouTube? The guy who's always the same guy that we just something for God or whatever.
I don't
jet
remember.
lag. So
jet
and
lag,
who finally got banned because he would not stop. But he came on my show and we had all three of them. We had amicable. It started off contentious and fucking barbs. I mean, just malicious, just total disrespect, putting him in the corner, muting him, putting the Jewish flag behind the Israeli flag behind Alexander tonight. It was very purposeful. I'm trying to make him look as dumb as he's trying to make me look, because that's the relationship we had. But once we started talking, we realized that we have some things in common and maybe a mutual, maybe not respect. Maybe it's not we're best friends, but at least we ended a conversation that was amicable, and I wished him well, and I felt that he felt the same. That's a common thread. So either you got to look at that and say, wow, well, Matt can have a conversation without being a petulant little dick. All it takes is for us to do the same. So I'm not going to say Groypers are nice people. I think you guys can be complete assholes, and so can I. And maybe we can have some conversations. That's it. Liv, last word, honey. You got your...
My mind's in the gutter. I'm sorry.
Why?
You said something that made my mind go.
See, that's all another thing she's very, very good at is fulfilling my needs.
You said I know how to grow. And I was like, oh, yes, you do.
Dookie says, are you from...
See, My mind's in the gutter.
Are
Sorry.
you from Minnesota? See, that's why when people are like, oh, she cheat on you. Trust me, dude.
No.
She can't even walk. So I don't know how she's going to do that. So
I'm sorry. Why would I cheat on him? I don't have time to cheat on him.
No, it's too busy.
No,
We're too
and I
busy.
mean, we have sex every day.
Okay, all right. We don't need to go in. All right. I'm drawing the line. That's it. Are you from Minnesota?
No,
Are you
I'm not from Minnesota.
Minnesota? No.
I am from Montana.
No, but I can do the Minnesota. By the way, Minnesota doesn't have any cups. Okay, that's it. God bless everybody.
My favorite joke.
Hey, no matter what our dispositions are, no matter what we agree or disagree, God bless to everybody. Everybody's looking for something. Everybody can do whatever they want and be whoever they want. And this is the greatest country in the world. I know some of you don't believe it. Some of you may not like it. Some of you may not care about it. But we do live in a country where we can have this conversation and we're not getting the knock on the door and it's not getting broken down. And although there have definitely been some of that going on, I've been to a lot of different countries and this type of dialogue doesn't take place. I don't think Groypers hate Jews. I think you guys have some bones of contention. I think you guys care about this country and you believe it should be America first, and that's against everybody. And I believe that you truly believe that Israel has done atrocities against this country and they are rewarded for it versus held accountable for it. I think those are fair arguments and they can be made on this show or in person or wherever else. But until you've been there and until you've broken bread with those people and until you've worked with those people, it's a perspective, once again, that you may not have that I have. So I ask you to listen to the show and give it a shot. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, that's cool too. We'll see you guys on the other side. God bless. Okay. Thanks for watching.
And
we'll
Dookie,
see.
I just love hockey. That's all. He was asking if I was from Minnesota because it was the hockey talk. No, I just really like hockey.
Yeah, but you've been doing that lately. When you start talking about hockey, you could.
Oh, really?
You go, oh, yeah, talk about, you betcha.
I've
yeah,
never even been to Minnesota.
Oh, talk about hockey? Oh, yeah, you do. I can't believe it. You betcha. Uh-huh. Yeah. All right, gosh darn it. I'm leaving now. Thanks, dummies, for watching. Everybody on Spreely TV. This is the show.
We're off on Spreely TV.
It only lasted 2 hours.
Yep.
I didn't extend it. So those on Spreely TV, if you're going to watch this, because it is going to post, more than happy to come on and watch us on Facebook or remind me and I will extend it. But that's what the show's about. This is what we do here. Thanks for watching. We love you. Stop by The Dumb Show, thedumbshow.com. You can get some non-Jewish paraphernalia if you'd like. Assault weapon shirts, coffee mugs, great coffee and hats. Go on over, support the site, or don't. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. We will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. with Mike and Matt in the morning. Tomorrow, I'll show you guys quickly. No, I won't. I'm leaving because we got to go. Good night, everybody. God bless.
There you go.